Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Simply Divine podcast. Today, we will be discussing all things zero point 0.5, the new league mechanic, all the reworked leagues, all the new everything. There's a lot, too much to cover. With Archive Esoterica as the
Yo,
guest, I believe second or third time on. Yeah, really, it's basically like half of the time. I think it's the second time. Um, yeah, so like this is all the budget could afford. Yeah,
yeah,
you don't have the big guys like Darth Microtransaction coming on here. This is what money can buy. That's all I'm saying. Hey, this is the best you're gonna get. You know what I mean?
yeah.
No, yeah, no, yeah, yeah. No. No, he's a pretty massive YouTuber over in the horror genre. One of the biggest SCP narrators out there, fall asleep YouTubers. Um, yeah, so go check him out. Um, and we play PoE2 together. That's literally the only time we hang out. We don't really know each other outside of PoE2. So
True.
yeah. Let's get into it. How do you feel about the announcement, the new league that's coming out?
The runes of Alder and whatnot.
Yeah, it's gonna be a
Um,
good one.
yeah. I mean, complete peak. I'll say first thing. I think that the league is going to be so good that I've already purchased the first $90 supporter pack associated with the league, and then I made a sort of commitment that if I'm still playing 2 months after launch, if it took me for another 2 months, I'm just gonna buy the other $90 supporter pack. But I don't know. Everything about it seems really cool. Um, I've been kind of doing the thing. I'll say I'm a big podcast enjoyer myself, even in terms of like when I'm working and whatnot. So leading up to this episode of the podcast, I've been consuming any and all of the podcasts, your Darth microtransactions, your all that
Talkative Try,
Zizarin, Talkative
Zizarin,
Try,
even Chris
Drink, I don't
Wilson.
know, Chris Wilson and Grinding Gear Games, Jonathan Rogers. Um I've watched every podcast that has to do with zero point 0.5 that I'm at least aware of at this point. And
Oh yeah.
I'm really excited for it. Just about everything about it. The like well, I guess we'll break down like each individual, topic as we move on throughout the episode, but um really exciting. I'm not part of the like sword cult or the order of the duelist or
Mm,
whatever you want to call them.
yeah.
All of the people who were like, yeah, well, this is all great and whatnot, but what about a weapon? I I could give a fuck about a weapon, honestly.
I think it gets to a certain point where there is so much other content that it's like, I mean, yeah, I probably wanted it, would have liked it. It would have been cool to have, but like, is that even really like is it even really necessary with this much other content? I mean, like we know it's coming. It's only a matter of time. It can wait if this is the patch that we're getting.
I absolutely agree. I mean, I think it's like a for me, I think the difference is that this release was obviously very important to the studio, very important for the game overall. People have been complaining about Endgame since zero point 0.1. So, it's been a long time coming that the Endgame rework would be here, and I honestly the amount of content that we've rolled into the patch is probably like 4 or 5 leagues worth normally in like in a normal sense. Like most leagues would never be this big. It's like their biggest update ever between both games and all that kind of stuff. I think like a new weapon like sword or a new class or whatever, that's kind of like a run of the mill league feature, but their scope was so much higher for this patch that they wanted it to basically be like, okay, we've done our due diligence. Here's this massive amount of content. See you when the game
Mm-hmm.
launches. You know, basically, we got Huntress in 0.2. We got 0.3 have anything?
Um, I had new
I don't think
ascendancies. It
so.
had the didn't have the Jin ascendancy for
Okay,
sorcerer,
yeah, it had the Jin
and
for
it had
sorcerer.
there was one other ascendancy too. I just can't even remember what it is. I don't think I played it.
It is probably poop butt. And then
Yeah,
0.4
right.
had Druid, you know? So they've been like adding classes and weapons and yada yada. You know, Spear came with the Huntress, obviously, Talisman's with the Druid. So like I mean, I guarantee 1.0 will come with at least one more class and one more weapon. And I don't know if they're gonna give into the meme, but part of me thinks that the new class and weapon will be duelist and sword because I don't know, people are the children yearn for the sword. So they might like shift dev focus because they have enough time. They have like 8 months until their next release that they might choose to focus on the sword first or something. But I don't know. I look at when I think of like there's four classes that aren't in the game. There's Marauder, there's Templar, there's Duelist, and there's Shadow.
Yeah.
When I think about it, I just think like one will come with 1.0, maybe another will be in 1.1, or maybe it'll be 1.2. But like in the pipeline, it sounds far away, but I think all classes will be in the game by like 2028, 2027, maybe.
Yeah. I think there's enough classes and ascendancies and skills and combinations that you can do already in the game that kind of make not having those like perfectly fine. I mean the druid came out with was it all three or two of their ascendancies? They came out with like the shapeshifter and then like the vine
Oh,
grower.
they only have two. So they
Yeah.
have the shaman, which was about like spells and like elemental stuff and
Yeah. Watering the plants.
resistances. No, no, shaman is the transformer guy.
Oh.
It's the one that I rolled anyway. Well, I mean, I to be fair, I don't think either of them are strictly dedicated to
Oh, track.
transforming,
I feel like I'm forgetting how
but
PoE2 works compared to PoE1.
yeah. So the shaman was about elemental skills. It's similar to like Stormweaver or Invoker for Monk and Sorcerer, where it was more about strictly elemental stuff, and then the Oracle was like the seeing into the future guy, where he had like a node that would reveal a bunch of like he had a bunch of ascendancy tree nodes that only the Oracle has access to.
Ah, yeah, the Oracle
The walk the
ascendancy.
unseen path, and then it had like Align Fate, I think it was called, which is like you'll get like ghost versions of yourself casting a spell that you know. And if
True.
you match what it tells you to do, it'll get a bonus or whatever.
I feel like they're
So
so blurry to me because like I barely played 0.4 and pretty much whenever I saw the shape shifting, I was like, that's the kind of druid I'm going to play. That seems like the more like obviously cool one, in my
yeah,
opinion. The other one is pretty cool, but I'm not the kind of person to make a second character in a league. So um I just made a and besides that, I mean, I didn't even get to the end of the league in 0.4. But we'll probably
yeah,
talk about how mid 0.4 was after we talk about how great 0.5 is.
yeah,
Actually, maybe we should start there and then talk about how great 0.5 is. We won't spend too much time on this, but I feel like 0.4 was, and for understandable reason, kind of a letdown. Like the druid came out, which was exciting for a bit. The classes, the ascendancies are good, and are fun and are very unique. Um, but I think where the league really fell apart for me was Fate of the Vol. The league mechanic just didn't speak to me. It was really really bad on release. It got better after they changed it a bit, but at the end of the day, still feels like kind of it just wasn't my cup of tea. And then what else? The Oh yeah, the endgame rework, which was also supposed to be like one of the big sells of the patch, it kind of got held back. Well, it did get held back and moved to 0.5, which kind of makes
Yeah.
0.5 this massive behemoth. But when I watched the Chris Wilson and the Jonathan Rogers interview where they were talking about it, and the fact that like some of the like individual mechanic reworks, like the breach rework or the delirium rework, just like those individual parts, some of them could have come out during 0.5 or 0.4 because they had them done at the time, but they wanted to, in order for like the message to be strong, that like it came out reworking all of their like end game league mechanics to come out with the end game rework, so they held it for 0.5 since they had delayed it. So I definitely get it, but it definitely makes for like a really small and underwhelming patch, at least compared to 0.3 and how insanely good it was with with the Rise of the Abyssal League.
And
I
Act 4, the best act in the game.
Oh, true, true. And the release of Act 4 came out in 0.3 and like they removed cruel difficulty. Yeah. What a
Yeah. They
crazy.
removed Cruel. Interludes are good. Act 4 is the best
Oh, and the
act in the
interludes.
game.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, 0.3 was like
And
a
Abyss.
dream. But
Just peak.
yeah, absolutely peak for sure. Definitely the most fun I've ever had in any of the two Path of Exiles ever. Um but yeah, 0.4 was just a big letdown for those reasons. I didn't even finish. I almost was there, but like I didn't finish even Act 4 yet. I didn't make it to Endgame or the interludes, so
Yeah, I mean, I bounced off of 0.4 as well. Um, I don't think the vol mechanic speaks to me that much either. I think I like it a little bit more than Sir Package does, but at the end of the day, I don't like it that much either. I think especially long term with it, you need to do 6 maps to be able to access the mechanic. Where in 0.3, Abyss is
yeah.
in every one of your maps. You just do it, you get it, you get your fucking abyssal trove or whatever,
You
get your
move on
drops and
usually.
you move on. And it's in every map, and it's like a you get more experience. It's like it feels like a high experience league. Get
Oh
some of your
yeah.
levels faster, get stronger faster, fun stuff without any like sort of thing that feels like grinding because you're interacting with the shiny mechanic. With the Vol Temple, it was like kill like 5 mobs and then all of them die instantly, and then it's like there you go. And right on release, it didn't even give you a chest. I'm pretty sure they changed that super quickly. But right on release, you would just activate the 1 out of 6 or 2 out of 6, whatever. You'd activate your beacon for your temple progress, and it would say like, "Here's an augment" or something. I think it dropped like a currency item when you activated it at the very
Yeah.
start.
Before
Awful,
0.4.1.
awful, because they were like transmutes and augments mostly, and then they made it like a little chest instead. So like that's cool, I guess. But um, speaking to the future, like we're still in 0.4 now, technically, if you're still playing right now. When 0.5 comes out, temples are not going to be in every map anymore.
So it's gonna be
So,
even harder to get into the Vault
yeah,
Temple.
it's going to be even harder to get into the vault temples naturally. What I'm assuming is that they didn't talk about it, but I'm assuming that there's going to be like a temple precursor tablet, I think they'll call it, like temple or
Yeah.
vol or whatever. There'll be some precursor tablet with charges that like guarantees you always have one in your map to like get the beacon progresses and whatnot. But now it's like now it takes one of your precursor things. And then also this is kind of recording before the patch notes. This is a slight issue. I don't know if they have like a Vol Temple section of the Atlas tree. If they did, they didn't show it.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I
it
saw
would
it in
be
there.
something. Oh, they did?
Yeah,
I mean, they probably didn't showcase it, but was it?
it was like in one of their like quick looks of the
Yeah.
like during the reveal. They didn't like
I
specifically
mean,
say it, but the tree
I
was there.
wonder
It
what
was like in a pyramid shape. It was like
I
red
wonder what
colored.
it'll be like because like I, I'm willing to at least look at the nodes and try it in 0.5 because if they know we do not have unique opinions. We are NPCs. Almost no one liked the Vault Temple from what I've heard, you know. All of the creators and like I've even I go on Reddit. I know it's embarrassing, but I read Reddit specifically for Path of Exile too. I like to go on the Path of Exile Reddits, and no one liked the Vault Temple there either. So they're putting it core anyway, despite it being received very poorly, which they usually don't do with mechanics. So I would imagine it's either because it's so early that they feel like they can't cut a mechanic they've spent time on, or that
They
they said,
must,
okay, we're gonna make some changes, and maybe when you fill out the Atlas points, it'll like feel a lot better.
yeah, they must
I,
feel like confident that they can make it work. I feel like, I mean,
yeah,
I feel like there could be a world where in the because it's going to be harder to get because you're not going to get it throughout the campaign. It's pretty much going to be like you have to basically wait till end game to start like finding to start building your temple. So yeah,
yeah.
you can guarantee it get landing on your maps with the tablets. I wonder if there's going to be like different levels of the tablet. I mean, we actually know that there are going to be different levels of the tablets. There's like white tablets, yellow tablets, and now there's apparently red tablets, and they're not like corrupted red tablets, like how there's red maps in PoE1.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't see that. I forget what video I watched where someone was talking about that. But either way, I wonder if there's going to be like if you have like a white level tablet or like a low level tablet and then like a yellow one and a red one, if there's like one vol like summoning circle on it and then two and then three. So maybe you only have to do like two
I don't I
maps
don't
to
I don't think that's like GGG to do something like that where there'll be more circles based on the precursor tablet, but I'm also yeah, I don't know. I don't work for GGG. But when I look at their Atlas tree things, what they really like to do, they have some gamblers on their design team. There's usually a node that is like, oh, what is the one? They usually put some like gamba throughout their tree. Like a PoE1 example is if you spec into Bestiary, the one where you like summon Einhar and you have to like hunt beasts.
yeah.
There's like an Atlas node that is just like um 5% chance for all of the beasts to be red, like as in like the biggest type of beast,
That
and
makes
none of
sense.
like the small ones or whatever. And then there's one that is like uh there's I
In
believe it's a strong box one where there's a percentage chance for a chest to be reopenable once, twice, and three times.
yeah, yeah, I know what you're talking about
Um,
there.
so like I would imagine they like to gamble. I would imagine there might be one where there's a percentage chance, like a high percent chance to get a bonus activation from your beacon, so it counts as two. There might be like a smaller chance for it to count as three, or like something like that. So that you're, I don't know, you're rolling the dice and you're getting the pog moment when your thing counts as three,
Yeah.
rather than it being as soon as you get to end game, you run a temple every two maps or whatever, because that might get out of hand
Yeah. I
economy
mean, I
wise.
feel like I think they also have something like that in PoE2. I remember there being like you can either
There's
go
one
to an
for one of
abyss
them.
map,
It's
but
it's
there's also a chance for the abyss to be like run by the abyssal. There's like one
yeah
little
yeah yeah
chance to
yeah
have that
yeah.
be the case.
There was
Um
also a breach one where your
oh yeah,
map could just
chances
have
to
like
have like
seven breaches or some
yeah.
shit.
Then you're running like a full like triple overlapping breach circle breach map.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean I would imagine that's how they would do it if they were going to do it. Then um but
they
yeah, I
like
feel
to
like they
gamble.
have to do something like that, or they just have to lower the amount of temples it requires to, or like beacons it requires to actually open the temples, maybe from like 6 to 5 or 4. if they're not going to do that, but I assume that they will because I feel like they kind of have that for every mechanic.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I feel like a lot of the consensus, even after the temple was changed a little bit, was that at the low end of investment, it is like at the low and medium, it is like very bad. But if you super high invest, you're getting like 500 divines per temple, which it's like I think the majority of the player base, like I'm not talking about like Fubgun, probably love that, and I think he actually did it. He like had like a
Yeah.
super temple. He's one of
Is a
those
super
people.
abuser. Yeah.
Um, but the majority of the player base, and even I would say the majority of the content creators, you don't have to put you don't have to put any investment really into Abyss, and you're gonna get rewarded for it. And people just like that. Like you don't have to be like the
Yeah.
biggest Abyss guy on the planet to get like some love from Abyss. But if you do put a bunch of, investment into it, then that only like, increases your output even further. So,
I
yeah.
I think mechanics like these two tend to create player bases. Like, when you look at PoE1, you get some really big examples of this. There are
Heist
heist
players,
players.
delve
Heist
players.
players? What are you? You're a creature. Sorry, not a big fan of the heist players. I mean, I don't actually have a problem with them.
Not a
They
big fan
buy
of
all my
heist.
maps. I'm not a big fan of heist. They buy all of my contracts until I take the node that turns off smuggler caches, and then I never interact with it again. Because like Heist is true like walking simulator where you're like maxing your stat maxes are like movement speed and I think some survivability and just enough damage to kill stuff because like the optimum heist player is to have like 400% movement speed and you do each contract in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
You just like through it and click and there's like no fighting almost. And it's like that's not the action that I'm trying to have in my action RPG. Like I'm just not a heist guy. But then there's also I'm team Delve. I like Delve. I'm a Delve guy. But I've also the last PoE1 league I played, I actually got really into being a Blight guy.
Oh yeah.
Where I did blighted map tower defenses and stuff. So like there are some mechanics that this is why I think the more I think about it, I think Vault Temple is good to keep into the game, even if I'm never going to interact with it. There are mechanics that they have historically left in the game so that people who really do like them, like they're a heist player.
Yeah. You're not even
There
really
might
like
be
a
there might
PoE
be
player.
temple players in the future leagues of PoE2.
Ooh,
Yeah. There might be
stay
blight
away from them.
players.
They have diseases.
Um I will be a Delver when they eventually add it, as they've like triple confirmed in different interviews and stuff.
Oh
Not
yeah,
when
straight up.
they're
I think
adding it, but
John
they're like,
said they're
I
adding
want
Delve.
Delve to be in the game. Yeah, they're like, I want Delve to be in the game. So it's coming at some point. I don't know. 1.0?
Uh,
Hmm?
John even did like a prediction. He was like, I think we'll have Delve in the game by 1.02. I cannot remember what interview that was. I don't think it was the one with Chris Wilson because I watched that for the second time because I watched Ziz's reaction to it. I watched
Yeah.
it itself and then Ziz's reaction to it like a day later, and I was like, okay. Well, I
I
gotta.
know. I'm pretty sure one of the mentions was in the Q&A with Ziggy D, where it was Mark and and oh my god.
Mark and John.
Mark. Mark and John. Gee, oh my God. I'm so sorry, John. You're like, Jonathan Rogers Roberts. He's like our goat, but I blanked on his name. But I'm pretty sure it was the Ziggy D Q&A where they both mentioned like, yeah, we want Delve to be in the game. We just haven't gotten it in yet. So
I'm looking this up real quick because I really think I want to give the credit to the guy who actually did the interview. Um, but I think it was this guy. It was a very recent one with. Okay, why can I not? All right.
is
I'm
it
gonna
in the
look for it
interview?
while we start the next topic. But yeah, I know the interview where I'm pretty sure he just said straight up he thinks they'll have Delve in the game by 1.02 or by 1.2. But I can't find like the interviewer's name. I can't find. I look up
Legendary drops.
Jonathan
That
Roger
was one.
PoE2, and I can't find it. But I unfortunate. Um, okay, let's talk about the new league now. The Rune League.
Absolutely. I'm
The
excited.
the Runes of Aldur. I feel like so people are saying that this is one of those like, and I think this is crazy, by the way. Not like the people saying it, but I'm just gonna like switch topics from what I was just about to say to I think it is crazy that we are getting a individual league mechanic this massive
Yeah.
at the same time that they're completely reworking all the other ones and adding
Yeah.
like basically an entire like PoE1 got basically Breach 2.0 as their league, as their like not the last league, that was Mirage, but the league right before that, Keepers of the Flame. They
Yeah.
basically got just Breach but upgraded. We're getting Breach but upgraded, Delirium, Ritual. We're basically getting what PoE1 got
Expedition.
times like 4 while
Yeah.
also getting like a massive league, like a massive new league. And
Yeah.
also this one is like completely I mean pretty sure yeah, this one has not been in PoE1. So it's also like wholly unique
Nope.
to PoE2.
Original. Yep. Not a recycle.
Um so it's like it is so crazy to me. Like I would think that like we'd get something like if they were gonna rework every other mechanic, I would have expected like a small league like the Asmiri Spirits coming into the game. Not
Yeah.
like not like this or like Crucible. That was like kind of like a small league, just adding a tree onto items. I mean, maybe I don't. Hey, we both played it. Maybe I don't remember the depths of it, but I feel like Crucible was pretty small.
No, Crucible was Titanic.
No, you
It,
just had
it,
an
it
item tree on your
I mean, it
items.
had
Like
a lot
you
of
know, that was
people's
it. That
like
was it.
it had a lot of people's like longest play time because yeah, you
I
like
kind of hope they add that one day to PoE2, even though it's
no,
not even core in
would
PoE1.
I would love Crucible and I want them to bring Crucible back. The problem with Crucible is that it genuinely shattered the game in a way that like
There's
you
just
can
no
say
way to
all
balance.
all they did was add a skill tree to weapons.
Yeah, that's it,
Huh?
bro. That's all they
Huh?
did. Yeah, that's all they
All
did.
they
What the fuck?
did was make it so that your minion, your for example, I don't know, like your all they did was make it so that your minion scepter had +3 to minion skills on top of its like +2 that it rolled. And all it did was like convert all of your minion damage to lightning and increase the magnitude of shock that they did. So all it did is like create like fucking 40 new builds that are all S tier super OP because you have a fucking like entire passive tree on your weapon. That's all it did.
Yeah, it's really it.
Like it was one of those things where I think you might remember it as small because it was a classic category of league mechanic that it was poop fart in like the campaign and early end game stages. But with like high investment, it was like literally the single biggest um power source for your character. There were literally end game crafters who would make like a mirror tier item, do the crucible mechanic to reveal its tree. The tree is shit, and there was no in league mechanic to in league way to like re-roll your tree. They just dumpstered the item. Like they just like sold it instead
Yeah, it's butt
because they were
cheeks.
like, I'm not playing with a bad crucible tree. That's how important it was. Um,
I mean, I feel
so I
that. I
don't
mean,
know.
I remember like making like upgrading my weapons and like you found a good weapon and then you put it into the crucible and if it revealed a shit tree, you were like, "Oh god." Like
Yeah, because now the entire league mechanic feels useless because what are you doing it for?
yeah.
So like people had
It's just
like
massive RNG. Like you
yeah, people had
RNG.
like white bases of their chosen weapon type so that when they came across the mechanic they would roll it on the white base and if it was a good tree they would craft it later and if it wasn't they would drop it on the ground. Like
It's yeah.
But
It'd be a lot of
I
depth.
enjoy Crucible, but they would have to balance it so hard. And then I think at some point, another problem with Crucible, which is why it was probably a for fun league that'll never come back when I think about it, is that no league mechanics should be designed to actually feel mandatory. But there's no
Yeah, I would
build where
agree.
you go, oh, I don't want a Crucible tree. The only build you can pluck out is like if you're doing like Hollow Palm because they don't have a weapon, so they couldn't have a weapon Crucible tree. But
I feel like it'd be one of those things in PoE2 where they'd be like, so you like just put your fist on the molten lava, and because you are a monk, you are resolute enough to not burn your hand, and you empower
wow,
your fists.
maybe Hollow Palm would have a thing where you could put it on your gloves instead, or something like that. I don't know, but you know, it's so mandatory that if they added it, you'd have to do it. And there's truly no league mechanic like that. Like if you never want to touch delirium a day in your life, you can buy the unique jewel, you can buy distilled emotions, like those you can just interact with the trade market.
Yeah,
But for like crucible things, unless they made it so that when you do crucible, instead of like having to be the one to put the weapon in and get the thing, it dropped as like a currency item, maybe, that would be
yeah.
okay. Where you could just buy the currency item that you just like plop it on your weapon and it gives it a crucible tree. Um, but I don't know.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. I don't even know how they would be able to balance it. That's honestly, that's a them problem.
Yeah, and
That's
also,
not
how did
really
we
a me
get here?
problem. Like I'm not paid to do this.
Why are we talking about Crucible?
Um, so the new Rune League, so the Runes of Aldur.
Yeah,
It's. I mean, to be fair, like I mean, it's still crazy. It's still its own league, but the new league mechanic is pretty tied in with expedition.
yeah.
So like they're adding the expeditions,
I'm
the
gonna
grand
have to give
expeditions.
Expedition another chance.
They're making it so that like in the late game, the rune crafting stones that like appear on the maps, that like different types of runes you put in have different combinations to give you different like currencies. But whenever you get into later game, or like whenever you go to like breach, or not breach, expedition areas, whenever you like sail the ocean blue on the atlas map and go south, get to the ocean, go to these like different nodes out there, and then like blow up a whole map of expedition. There's like the rune stones that are there that you blow them up and they buff the all the monsters that you blow up. And then like that's how you interact with the mechanic. Obviously I don't know like the super specifics, nobody does, but yeah, I feel like even explaining it is hard because I have watched I've watched every PoE2 piece of content in like the last week since the reveal, and even like a little bit before the reveal when the trailers are coming out, that like and I've heard so many people talk about it, and it really seems like there was just so much that nobody even really can like perceive the amount of depth, which is why it's so crazy that this is coming out at the same time as like all the reworks to the other thing, and all the reworks to the other league mechanics and the end game. But what there's like 200 new runes. Now, people are saying
160
yeah.
from memory, but
So people are saying that like that's too much. I just want to say this, like I feel like it's not. Because
I
here's the thing, like some people will always say like, "Oh, this is too much." But let's be honest, not all 160 of these new runes are going to be all viable, all the best, and all working for all the same builds. Like the reality is that you get down to your build and you get down to your ascendancy, and there's going to be a lot of runes to choose from. Yes, but like really how many are viable to you in your build and like actually
yeah.
usable? Like
The
how many
ones
make
that
sense?
the ones that
That narrows it
interact with
down
your
a
damage
lot.
type and the ones that interact with your defense type. That's it.
Yeah. Like
For
that.
the most part, right? Like that's
you could say like, oh, there's too many abilities in the game. You could say there's too many anythings in the game, especially in Path of Exile. But like, I feel like the more, because there's so much character customization in Path of Exile and PoE2, you just get to a point where it's like, yeah, there's a lot of mods that can go on items, but like you as a character aren't looking for every single mod. You don't need to know
Yeah.
every single mod. You don't need to like care. Um,
True.
you just need to like figure out which ones are good for you, whether that is like looking up a guide or like stumbling across them and saying, that sounds kind of good for me. And then like you learn as you go. Like, I don't know. It, like your gear only has so many sockets. It's not like you're going to be socketing all 160 of these runes or anything like that.
Yeah. a- And I also, to me, maybe this is just like, I don't know, because I heard from like 3 or 4 creators that I really, generally I would say I respect in terms of like the Path of Exile thing in space. They were all like, this is just too much. And I'm like, but like, why? Because
Yeah.
and then they argue. I think their main argument, the one I've heard the most, is that they would rather put runes into the game than give us a crafting bench or whatever. Because people are like really salty over the crafting bench, over the concept of like they can't go back to their hideout whenever they get a new piece of gear and then just like bolt on resistances or bolt on health or bolt
Yeah.
on whatever they want. They can't just like point and click and boom, here you go. Bada boom. Um and like in ways I get that, but in ways I think it makes the game a little bit harder. And in a way I like that. I don't want the game to never offer me a single challenge just because I know how to play it. That's
Yeah.
like a some people will disagree. Some people want to hit end game in like 2 hours flat and then like go do whatever. Um but I never want a game to become completely trivial as long as I know what I'm doing. And to be honest, Path of Exile has kind of been in that camp for years, which I don't personally consider a good thing. I do nothing but glaze Path of Exile for the most part, just glaze on glaze on glaze. But a negative I will find is that, like, if you really look at the clips of Path of Exile 1 league launch to league launch, the only
Yeah.
time you're seeing like rip clips where players actually die, it is never ever like a boss in the campaign or whatever. Almost ever. It's like, oh, they released Delirium, or no. Oh, what was it called? I'm blanking on the PoE1 league. It doesn't matter. They like, oh, Crucible. That's an easy. Oh, they released Crucible, and the Crucible mobs themselves were like massively overtuned, so they like one shot Ziz, and he
I'm
was
still
playing
listening.
hardcore.
Let me let
Haha.
out the dogs.
Here's the clip. Oh my god, you're leaving me alone on the solo. Oh my god, it's a solo show. All right, but you like, I don't know. I look at the Path of Exile 1 rip clips, and I look at all of these people with like thousands and thousands and thousands of hours in the game. And really the only amount of friction that they will face league to league in general is just if the new mechanic is overly rippy, if it's a little too high damage, or if it's a little whatever, that's when they'll encounter difficulty. But you watch any experienced Path of Exile 1 player, the campaign is more of like a formality until they have to play the real game
Yeah.
than it is like something they experience. And a big part of that does genuinely have to do with the crafting bench, because a fucking a veteran player will be like, all right, I have to go fight geez, it's embarrassing. I'm forgetting her name. But the siren boss at the end of Act 1, who does all of the ice damage, and she's like singing and stuff, and she was um of course I know the lore. She was Dereso's wife, but I forget her name. She was a siren. Someone will comment or whatever, but
Yeah.
She does only ice damage. So a lot of experienced players will pick like a white pair of gloves, a white they will buy a white sapphire ring from the vendor and then go cap out their ice resistance before they fight her, and then that takes like 40 seconds, and then they're literally immune to the boss. Like they can just stand in it and nothing matters. And they do that throughout every act of the campaign just because they've played enough of the game that they're like, okay, she's ice. Arakali in Act 6 is chaos, so they like focus up their chaos res. They craft that. They fight Kaum, he's fire. So they just, you know, and at any time you can just take a break from the game. And when you're experienced with the menus, it's not a meaningful break. It's not like something you have to grind for. You're like, oh, I've picked up some like alterations. I'm just gonna like spend 3 minutes bolting on 60% fire resist out of thin air or whatever, and now this fire boss doesn't do anything to me. I don't find that as enticing as runes dropping, which I think is going to be like a really unpopular opinion. But I like it is exciting for me to get a glacial rune in Act 1 because I know Geonor is so based around ice that I'm like, nice. I can save that for right when I'm about to fight him. If I'm, not confident I'm going to be keeping my gear, which gives me a decision to like think about, or I can just put it in now if I'm like pretty confident I'm going to keep it. But I will be fighting Geonor, and I will know that that glacial rune will drop for me. And some leagues that glacial rune won't drop, and I'll die to Geonor. I've died to Geonor before, even though I've beat him before. Sometimes you're just a little weaker when you get there than other times. And
Yeah.
that doesn't really happen with the crafting bench because you can buy a white piece of gear and just buy the one resistance stat you need. And then it's like your damage might be slow. You might kill them slowly because you didn't roll a good weapon, but you're going to kill them. With runes, it's more drop based. The only thing, like I've heard this sort of middle ground when it comes to like runes versus craft benches, is that I think it would be really fine if there was like a basic rune vendor or something in the act towns where you can
Yeah.
like they like restock every level, but maybe you can buy like one of each of the lessers or something if you have the gold and you want to spend it there or something. But like, I mean, other than that, I'm a big fan of the runes.
Yeah, I really like the runes. I like the system. I like putting the sockets on your gear. Also because like early game as well, that um early game as well, those the artificer's orbs, in order to like put a slot or put a rune slot on your gear, they're not like they're kind of rare, at least especially in like Act 1 and stuff. So, unless you find like a good piece with already rune slots, sometimes it is hard to get, especially because in Act 1, for, 99% of it, you don't have the bench, right? Do you not have the bench even after you complete Act 1? When do you complete the bench? I don't know. Whenever you get Renly's tools.
What are you talking
Um
about for like getting
to be able to like craft
cards?
to get Renly's tools to fix up the workbench where you like put the rune slots on your gear.
It's before GNR,
Okay,
but
yeah. But it's like 99%
it's
of
in
Act
Ogden
1
Village.
you spend without it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you don't even get it is rare to be able to put the slots on and then also find the runes that you would hope to find. Like I also share the sentiment that I get really excited whenever I see like, because I was playing Lightning Spear earlier when we were playing a little bit to warm up for 0.5 coming out, get like the feel of the game back. Um I got really excited whenever I found a Rune of Lightning, because I knew that I was just going to put it on my spear, add 1 to 12 lightning damage. Pretty simple, but overall really nice. Obviously, I would want to do that. So it felt really good to get. It was like the same high as getting like even a rare drop that early into the game, because you just know that it's going to be very impactful. Um, yeah, I like runes, and the reality is that I feel like it seems like enough, and it may seem like too much to some people, and it may sound like too much. I feel like whenever it gets here, it's not actually going to be too much.
Yeah.
But
And then, like, even like a side point about the runes that I wanted to make really quick. When you think about the number 160, you're like, what the fuck? That's so many runes or whatever. But then
yeah,
it's like, okay, well, you got to think about like if they're gonna make like a blank damage penetrates resistance, like fire damage penetrates resistances on the enemies. They also have to make lightning. They also have to make ice. They also have to make chaos. They also have to make physical. They also have to
yeah.
make.
And some I assume
I
are going to
think. I
be
think
so
that's it.
rare you might not even see them, like in a whole
Yeah,
league. Like there's going to be
but
like
like,
really strong ones. It's like whenever you socket it, it increases your maximum resistance to a specific element by 1% or something like that.
guarantee those are going to be in there. And so then you have to make one for every resistance type. You have to make the energy shield recharges faster, which means you have to make the like increased life regen, which means blah blah blah. Yeah, all of these things that you make, consider like any elemental effect that you might reasonably think of on gear. They're probably going to make that into a socket, and that means they have to make it for every single element type. So if it's
Yeah,
like
that builds
if
up
you're gonna
quick.
have if you're gonna have a body armor rune that is like percent of damage taken, percent of fire damage taken applies to armor. Again, you have to go ice, lightning, chaos, whatever. That's
Yeah,
four right there. Um, so all of these categories, every elemental category, I would assume, since this game is so based on elemental damage for like anything that's basically not warrior, honestly, at this moment. Since it's so based on that, there's gonna be stuff for that everywhere. So it just multiplies really quickly. Like take any concept of a rune and multiply it by 4 because of you have to cover every element type. And then
yeah.
there you go.
And then like similar to like you saying that and what I said, it was like if there are piercing resistance per element, you're going a fire build. Okay, there's 160 runes, but like you don't care about the penetrating ice one. You don't care about the
No.
penetrating lightning one. Like 90% of them, you're probably not even going to interact with, especially
Yeah.
because like the ones that increase your maximum resistances, if those are going to be in the game, you're probably not going to go those unless you're like hyper end game or like you're specifically going like a tanky kind of build. So like
Yeah.
most of them, it's gonna be like, yeah, there's 160 runes, but really each build only has to care about maybe 15 of them tops of the new ones.
Yeah.
So it's like you're not actually getting as overwhelmed as you'd think you're getting overwhelmed with. And on top of that, like I said, those ones would probably be there's probably gonna be a lot of the runes now are like very general. So like in the early campaign, the poopy version drops, and then sometimes and then you get higher and then the medium version drops, and you get higher and then the large version drops. But they're all like very basic, except for like some of them are like actually have like a decent rarity, like the movement speed one that goes on boots. I
Yeah.
assume ones that are like really powerful, like that, like get an extra percent of maximum resistance, are going to be very rare. You probably won't see some of these every single league. Like you're probably not going to
Yeah.
get one of the, and even if you do get a bunch of them, the only real problem I see personally is how fast they fill up your backpack. Really, like that's 160 new things hypothetically that are filling up a spot in your backpack, a
I would
square.
assume a lot
And
of
it's
them
like,
are gonna be like fairly rare.
yeah,
And
because I feel like
there's
they're probably going to get really unique with them.
yeah,
They're
there's
not going to be
also like
basic because all the basic ones are already in the game.
there's a lot that I'm like really excited for. Like the one that they showcase. I know they showcased it because it's a really exciting effect. But there was one that was like if you have adds fire, adds ice, and adds lightning to attacks on a weapon, and you put this new rune in, it converts all of them into fire.
Yeah,
So it takes the ice and the lightning, and it just makes one giant adds fire damage to your weapon. So that's really good, obviously, for any like fire martial build, any like burn build, any whatever. Put that
yeah,
on like a talisman for your wyvern build. Whoa, you know. Um, that's really awesome. And so obviously there's gonna be an ice, there's gonna be a thunder or lightning. And what I'm really hoping for is that they have one that turns every elemental mod into flat fizz.
oh, I guarantee. I assume they're going to
I
have that. I think that's the
That
one that
would
they
be
showed. I thought they turned it on in the
no.
physical, but maybe I'm wrong.
I'm pretty sure it's semantics, but I'm pretty sure the one they showed was fire. But it doesn't matter. It's semantics. If it exists as like a pure fizz, that's kind of what I'm banking on to see if that's true. We'll talk more about this later.
Yeah.
I want to convert my like league starter into a pure fizz monk and just try it with like stunts and bleeds and whatnot because I think that would be really fun. But yeah,
Yeah. I
there's
mean,
gonna be some like rare build enabling runes there too. Like you're not gonna, like you said, you're not gonna see this stuff all the time.
and also I feel like that's gonna be really cool for like the attunement support gem. Is that what they're called? The attunement ones where it's like 25% more of this, but half of this and half of this. Like
Yes, that's
more
attunement.
lightning,
Yeah.
less fire, and less cold. So whenever
Yeah,
you put that rune in something else and you turn all your damage to fire,
yeah.
they're not being
There's no
reduced
negative.
by that
Yeah.
support gem now. So there's going to be tons of different options to get like more in depth with your builds. But yeah, most of the time you're not going to use all of these and you're not even going to find some of them.
It's just like here's a quick great example that'll take like 10 seconds to pay off. Do you know every soul core that comes from the chaos trial? I sure as fuck don't. I don't know every single
Oh
not.
no,
That drops.
definitely
And
not. I
does
don't
it
know every
matter?
core. I don't know every talisman. I don't
Does
see
it affect
90%
my
of them.
enjoyment of the game? It doesn't for me.
Not
Like
really, man.
I don't know.
Like
I
if
don't know every
there's
soul core.
I just do the try. I
I
just
know
do the
some of the
trial of
really good ones.
chaos, and if I don't get the one that I wanted, and I find out that there's like a really good one for my build, I just go in and buy it. I'd be like, oh
Yeah.
man, ah darn it.
You're probably not gonna know every rune, but like, will it matter?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
that's what people are saying. Like, there's so many socketables. I just like it. Yeah, there's already a ton of socketables to be fair, but like,
Yeah.
it's not overwhelming. And I feel like even with these, it's not going to be overwhelming still. So, yeah, there's also being able to upgrade legendary items or unique items that are on low bases but have good mods to higher bases so you can use them in the late game and they deal more damage and everything. I mean, I think this is like you could almost say this is like the work smarter not harder way of them saying, "Hey, a lot of our uniques are kind of shit. People want buffs to a lot of our uniques. And yeah, we could probably buff some of them and they probably will like at base buff them. But also if not every unique needs to be end game viable, but in order to make some of them that way, you can just straight up take them up to that level if they were like a low level thing. So I think
Yeah.
that that is like a really cool, like I didn't expect that because I was expecting like, hey, we're buffing a shit ton of our uniques. Not like, no, we're giving you the power to go into this workbench and buff your own uniques with like this new, was it like at the new currency? That's
Verisium. Yeah.
yeah, Verisium. So that's pretty cool. And they're also like, what are they doing? They're taking like the ability to remove mods from something and put
Yeah,
it on another thing.
another one of the new socketables is if you put it into a socketable Kalgurin and Mariketh. It's Kalgur plus another culture, and we don't. You can have like a very good idea of like what is a Kalgurin artifact because of the way they look and whatnot, similar to like Vol,
Yeah,
but it's not current. It's not currently marked in the game. But people are saying
I think it should
once
be once this
being a
comes
Vol
out.
unique was relevant to the game, they made it displays as a Vol if you hold Alt on the item
Yeah.
if it is one. So they'll probably do that for Calgarin, and I think it's Mariketh, but I'm not. I think it's Mariketh. The reason because Mariketh culture is the culture that Act Two is all about. So probably a lot of the uniques from the Act Two area this will be viable from. But if you put this new rune into the unique, it instantly destroys it, and it takes like a hand-picked, it's not random, a hand-picked, very like what makes the item unique.
Yeah, like a
It
unique
rips it
modifier.
out of the item and you can put it into another item that matches its type. So you can like rip a unique effect out of a unique chest and then like
Yeah,
put it in your rare chest.
which is
So
crazy.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna go like really crazy. Again, it depends on. I think those have to be really rare because I would imagine if
Oh,
you're
for
looking
sure.
at like if you're looking at like a unique wand and you're like, oh my god, this one effect is like so crazy, but if I use this unique, then I can't get plus level to skill gems, so it's automatically worthless. Well, what if you just like take the effect you really want out and then put it in your plus 3 level skill gems wand, and then you have both. So
Yeah.
it seems like it's gonna be insanely powerful, so I'd imagine it'll be on the rarer side.
Um, what else was there? The whenever you craft an item or whenever you use your Verisium, I think, to upgrade an item, it basically gives it a new stat, the runic ward.
Yes, runic
Um,
ward.
which is like a second health bar under your health bar,
Yeah.
which yeah, people are saying it's like a roundabout way to add life to the tree, but
Yeah.
funny
GGG
way
will
of
do
getting around
anything
it.
but add life to the tree.
I overall I think it's cool. Still, I mean, obviously, I think the play is like, why would you not try and put this on every single one of your items? I think it's just going to be one of those things where it's like you affect it with Verisium, put the runic ward on it. It's going to be every piece. I'm hoping, honestly, that they balance it in that way that some of like the ones without energy shield, like without that are just like armor or evasion, or they have more runic ward, because like if you have energy shield and your health bar and your runic ward, it's like, well, what are we even doing anymore? Then it's like, because they can kind of use it, they can kind of balance it in a way to like make the bases that give energy shield not give as much runic ward, so they can finally balance like the survivability between the health stack, the wannabe health stackers, because they can't really, because there's no health on the tree, and the essence, I was gonna say essence reaver, League of Legends,
Yeah.
the energy shield builders.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's exciting. Hey, that's pretty neat.
It is fun. And what's even more fun about it though is that it acts as a secondary source for the 25 new Calguran skills that will be in the league.
Ooh,
We're
yeah,
not we're
true.
not entirely sure on like where they drop. I'm assuming it might be a drop from the league mechanic, that like a chance to get a random Calguran skill, or maybe you have to spend Verisium to like roll a random one. We're not too sure yet. But what we do know is that there's like 25 new Calguran skills, and like the three that they revealed, all of these they don't cost mana, they don't cost health, they cost specifically runic ward,
Yeah,
which makes you want to invest into the system more. But there's like really cool things. So like if you've hit a pack of mobs with a fire spell and they're currently burning, there's a new runic ward ability called like frost fire whatever. I don't know. It's frost fire something. I forget the last word. But basically it lets you target an enemy that is already ignited, and it turns it into a frost fire ignite where they're still taking all of the burn damage that you put on them, but now that burn damage is also chilling them and applying towards the freeze gauge. So
yeah,
now you can kind of like you can pick no cold damage nodes, but you can now, if you use that skill as a as like a fire build, if you have just a couple of nodes that increase like your chill magnitude or your freeze buildup,
yeah.
just kind of because they're pretty close together usually. There's some like circles on the spellcaster side trees where like this side is ice, this side is fire, whatever. So you can kind of dip into both if you wanted to use the skill. And now fire has a crowd control that it can use on bosses and whatnot. Because it kind of doesn't right now. It's like the damage element, you know?
Yeah.
Um but now there's a chance that you can make ignite enemies frozen. Pretty cool. Then you can get all of your there's like other nodes that are like you do more damage against frozen enemies and yada yada. So now you can dip even harder into like just raw damage when you're doing your fire builds just by interacting with that runic ward ability. And then there's another one that was very generic where it's just like not in a bad way, but it's very generally applicable where it just makes it you attach it to you attach it basically as a support gem to a skill, and then it makes that skill now cost runic ward. And as long as you're spending that runic ward, that skill is going to do more damage.
Yeah.
So if you want to use it only as like a secondary damage resource and like not have the safety net to fall back on, that's a, that's an option there. And then I forget what the third one was that they revealed, to be honest, but
I think it was just the
I'm not
Frost
sure.
Flame Nova and the Runic Infusion.
Maybe.
At least that's what I'm seeing on the website right now.
Oh,
I
okay,
I,
that's fine.
I have the website pulled up just to like
I guess I remembered
be
all
able
of
to
it
see
then.
everything.
I'm the goat.
My only worry about the the Calgarian skills, because they're like anybody can learn them and it costs a resource that everybody can have, and they don't have a specific color, which means that they don't require a specific amount of like agility, strength, or intelligence. It The only thing I worry about is that if they don't balance them correctly, it could become a thing where it's like, oh, everybody takes this skill because everybody can have that skill, and it's just too good to not take. It's like every single person, no matter their build, no matter their class, no matter their ascendancy, takes this because it is just too broken, like utility wise or something like that. Like if they added blink to a Calgarian skill, everyone's taking
Oh,
blink for
yeah.
free. Like why would you not?
They're never gonna do that though. I don't think. At least if they
Yeah.
did,
I feel like they have to be
I think
very
that would be
specific and
patched immediately.
intentional.
Yeah, 100%. They have to be general enough that more than one build wants to use them, but not so general that they're mandatory. And I hope that they're competent enough that works out.
Yeah.
Like for example, I know Blink is already a reservation skill on like the caster side of spirit gems. Technically anyone can use it, but there's a reservation spirit gem where it replaces your dodge roll with a blink, but it gives it like a cooldown.
Yeah.
So I mean, I wouldn't imagine they would double dip like that, but I understand your concern is if something is too generally useful, that is one of the major drawbacks of the system. If something is too generally useful, then it's just gonna
End up on
it's gonna
everybody.
be yeah, it's gonna be on everyone. Like I kind of struggle to see how anyone who without having my hands on it and without feeling it, I kind of struggle to see how runic confusion already isn't that because I feel like
Yeah.
most people are gonna be like, yeah, I just fuck my ward, I just want more damage. And I think the only way that that's not good is I don't believe it'll interact with minions. But
Yeah.
anyone that like hits, I can't see. I don't plan on dying often, so unless I'm making Runic Ward like my
I do.
primary defensive layer, true.
I
Unless
got
I'm
lives, might
making
as well use them.
Runic Ward my primary defensive layer, why wouldn't I just like get more damage if I end up getting that gem?
Yeah. No, I definitely feel that. But hopefully they'll keep a close eye on it and won't be afraid to do nerfs even after like the patch hits. Like I feel like they shouldn't be
100%.
afraid to make some people frown, make some losers frown. Oh
Yeah,
no, you nerfed
it's
the
it's
completely
an
broken
alpha,
thing I was
guys.
abusing. Bro, this patch is gonna be out
Yeah.
for 8 months. You aren't abusing that for 8 months. Get fucking nerfed. Jesus Christ. like, um, but next topic. I mean, I feel like we covered the league pretty well, unless there's anything you can think of else that's coming in the league. The new skills, the
I
expedition, the runes,
I don't
the
know, just like
unique
a side
upgrading.
note that I've seen. I'm worried about I'm just gonna try and push past it if it does feel this way. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna let it like ruin the league. But I'm really worried that the current like the league mechanic coming out with it, I think it's gonna be good, but I think it's gonna be a real campaign stinker. It's gonna be a real stinker.
yeah.
Because late game, it's gonna be about giving you like runes and stuff, so you're always gonna be chasing that next hit. Like, oh my god, I found the rune thing. I might find the weapon rune that converts all my damage into physical, so I can achieve my dreams. You know, that'll be really exciting. But in what they showcased, it was like, hey, watch this thing like light up and animate for like 4 seconds before the encounter activates, and then do the encounter, and then it drops, and
And
it's
then you get
like
an AUG.
for an augment orb.
Yeah, I mean, You're definitely gonna be
bro.
chasing the high of like
Kill
finding
me.
one with like a divine orb in it,
Yeah,
like
I
the
think it'll be
combination.
satisfying mid to late game, but early
Yeah.
game it might be a real stinker. I don't know. We might walk past it after the first couple times if it's like a real stinker.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll change it if it ends up like that. But
Yeah.
so other than the league, just general new things that are coming before we get into the all the individual reworked leagues. But the whole like not the individual storylines because we'll talk about those because those are with the leagues, but the fact that they're changing the Atlas map. Now, I know a lot of people don't like the Infinite Atlas. I'm like kind of in that camp, but I'm definitely like not so far in the camp that it's like unsavable. I think that what they did actually does save it for me. Where I look at the Infinite Atlas map now and it's like, oh, got some like mountain here and then like got some like swamp here and got some like forest here. Super. I guess like these are some boss nodes and like I could do that tower over there. But like the new vision for the Atlas map is like in like 4 nodes or like 5 nodes, depending on the direction you go. Like if you go south just a little bit, it's all ocean and it's all expedition. If you want to be an expedition gamer, you go that way. If you go this way, there's like, or if you go north, there's like a massive fucking fortress that spawns and takes up like a shitload of the map. And like you go in any map you do inside of that fortress, I mean, there's going to be tons of new endgame maps, but also it's going to be like in that theme and you're going to be like working towards conquering this like massive cathedral that has risen from the world, from the map.
Yeah.
And you go in like another direction and it's like all is shadowed in mist and it's delirious and all the maps in there are delirium. Like I think that, and now like the map looks beautiful. Like there are so many different themes and like there's
Oh,
basically like,
100%.
I know you could say like there's biomes because like there's mountains and forest and like a
Yeah.
desert and swamp. But like, okay, yeah, like there's biomes in that way, but there's like content biomes. Like
Yeah, there's content
I'm
biomes
going
now.
to like the abyss and there's massive cracks in the abyss. And like you do maps around those and you clear out the abyss, and then the abyss actually like closes the massive one that's actually physically on the map. And that's how
Yeah.
you put points into your Atlas tree. Which on top of that, just another discussion, I don't like, which we'll also, I'm sure we'll get into because we both kind of agreed on this.
We'll get into it.
We don't like the individual trees for the different mechanics, but if they were going to improve it, I think this is improving it. Like the way you do, like, because before it was like, for some reason, I also don't think that this should be a tree at all. The boss tree, like that's weird to me that there's a boss tree. I think if you want to,
Yeah.
that should be at least added to like the main one. I don't know if they did
It
that. I
should just
didn't
be
see
in
a
the
boss
general
tree,
tree, to be
but
honest.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, small mechanics and bosses should definitely just be in like the main tree. But I didn't really like that. It's like, oh, so like if you like defeat some bosses, like you get in the boss tree, like, well, duh. But like, is that really cool? Like, I don't really think that that's super cool.
It just happened
Um,
passively. You didn't have to think about it, and it wasn't a goal to pursue. It
yeah.
just happened.
And then it's
Yeah.
like the way you do it in like Delirium is like you fight, you basically like do the Delirium pinnacle and like that's cool, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Simulacrum 1, 2, and 3. Yeah.
Yeah. And then like that's how you get your points for the tree. Which is like cool and that makes sense. And I think they'll probably keep it there. But I also like it like you are fighting back the delirious fog from the world and clearing it off the Atlas map. And that is what gives you the points. Like you are
Yeah.
closing the Atlas or the abyss cracks in the earth. And that's what gives you the Atlas points for the tree. So I don't like the individual trees, but I like that they're at least trying to find ways to improve the way it feels to complete them. It, it doesn't make it perfect because it's not like exactly the point of why I didn't like it. But they're helping in ways, and like also, this is going to be another thing, but how they made it so if you don't have a mechanic within your tablet and it's not also like on the map itself, then it won't appear in your map. So like there's not gonna just be randomly appearing. There's gonna be like three um types of mechanics per map max. So if you go into like an abyss crack area in the Atlas map, then you have three abyss tablets as you're going in. You're gonna only get abyss. It's gonna be like a super abyss map. There's not gonna be any like Vol temple thingies. There's gonna be no delirium mirror. So there
Yeah.
are now ways to turn off mechanics pretty much without going to like the Atlas tree and turning them off. So yeah, I mean they're working on it. Some of the reasons why I hate it, the individual trees are being fixed. I think I would still rather just the thing, but I mean I don't know. I'd have to actually play the game this patch. I'm gonna play a lot of the game this patch. We'll see if I'm convinced. Um, I do think that like because they're adding so much to these other mechanics, it also kind of helps that case. Where my only problem was like you could complete the boss tree and you could complete the abyss tree and you can complete the breach tree and you can complete the delirium tree and the ritual tree, and it's kind of easy to do. Like it's kind of easy to be that guy who just does everything. Everybody does everything, and you're not nobody's really unique. Um, which is kind of like the main problem of like the individual trees for the mechanics. But I feel like with the how much they're adding to these mechanics, even if you could play for 100 hours, you are not doing every mechanic. Like,
Yeah, no.
and depends on if
No.
they made it like harder too as well to like get the points for the trees. You're not completing all the trees, even if you're like the guy, unless you're playing like
Yeah.
forever. So they're moving a lot in ways that you know make it okay. So
I think in a lot of ways the sheer complexity of the
I got a
mechanics is
piss.
going
I'm gonna keep listening though.
is going to solve the issue of like no specialization because right now in the pre-endgame rework phase of the game of the end game, it was true that every mechanic was simple enough that you can realistically do all of them and not really worry about it. So you do everything and get everything, and by that metric, you don't feel specialized. Um, whereas I think their general design vision going forward, which I'm cool with, is to make every mechanic so involved in its own unique way that you kind of specialize just by the nature of being a human that doesn't have like infinite free time. I think that's fine. I as long as the nodes are good and the nodes are fun for the mechanics that I like, and I am on a trade market and it's like, okay, this league I'm going to focus on Delirium and Expedition, I guess, for example. I'm not gonna do Breach, I'm not gonna do Abyss, yeah, yada yada yada. But I can just buy a Breach ring. I could just buy that base type, or the market is a wonderful tool. I could just buy some desecrated, like the Abyss crafting bones. I could buy some bones. But if the specialization is just gonna come from the fact that like you don't have time as a like I don't know a responsible adult to realistically do all of the mechanics, then that's fine with me. It there doesn't have to be a specific button that I click in the game that says you are an abyss guy now. I can just be an abyss guy. The reason that didn't work before is that you sit back and you're like, well, what am I doing? I could just also do ritual and yada yada. But if it's involved enough that you have to choose what you're doing realistically, rather than like just the feeling of that you can do them all anyway,
Yeah,
that's fine. That's a solution on its own.
because now it seems like there's two major pinnacles, and I assume also multiple difficulties still for the mechanics, right?
Yeah.
So Um,
Yeah, there's
there's
like
a lot
6
more you
breach
have to
bosses
do. And I would assume that in
that we
order
know about.
to defeat the second pinnacle, um, like the other ones that they're adding, that's also how you get points for the tree. So it's like, are you really
Yeah.
gonna defeat 2 pinnacle bosses, possibly multiple difficulties for each of them? Um, have your like breach mother womb vagina
Womb
tree
tree.
or whatever the hell
Yay.
even is that. I don't know. I didn't play the PoE1 league. But are you really realistically going to do that and then also do everything else for all the other mechanics? Like you said, like the other mechanics, the ones that released with early access, were just so small that you could realistically just do all of them. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, something I wanted to bring up about the Atlas tree is I honestly got really scared during the reveal because I thought that they were taking what we had already said that we like kind of disliked and was making it so much worse. Because
Yeah.
when they were like, hey, so we reshaped the entire Atlas tree, you can get every node. I was like, oh my
Oh!
God, it's my 911. Everybody is going to be the same. Like, but no.
Yeah.
They're doing like all the notables, I believe, or all like the major notables are multiple choice. So yeah, it's still a little bit in that direction because everybody will have every little node
Yeah.
eventually. Well, not everybody. I mean, all the people who play till like the actual like super end game will have
Yeah.
every little node and every medium sized node. But there is still like multiple choice, like where you branch out from other players. And it does seem like there isn't always going to be like an absolutely correct and incorrect opinion. Like one or two of the ones that they showed is very like very different and very meaningful between which one you
Yeah.
choose. It's not like this one's the bad one, obviously, and this one's the obvious good one. It's like both of these are good. You might have to like think about it, and different kind
There
of
there
players will
there
think
are
about it.
some where that is currently a problem. I was watching a PoE2 stream, um, plugging, I think his name is Miso X Shiro or
Misa
whatever,
Shiro?
but Miso Shiro, yeah, whatever. Um, I'm pretty sure that's the name. I was
Yeah.
watching one of his streams and he was discussing the issue of like, okay, so one of the nodes is it's so obvious that it's painful and it's basically a wasted choice. It's one, it's like
Yeah, they're not going
you
to get
get
the
a
balancing right.
you get a shrine before you enter the boss arena, or the boss gets a shrine and you get a 25% rarity boost when you kill the boss. And I don't know, putting it in my own words, you have to be the biggest pussy to pick a shrine buff for yourself rather than give it to the boss to get better loot. Like, are you joking? Because I don't know, like like you're always going to get the better loot if you
Hmm.
do that. And you should always be able to kill the boss anyway because you're the goat. So it doesn't really matter.
I am the
Whereas
goat.
the other one is you roll a random ass shrine before the boss fight. What if it gives you like cold damage or something?
Hell yeah.
And you're like a fire build? Or what if it gives you like uh what if it gives you like the armor shrine and you're like a fucking zero armor like energy shield build? It's a complete waste. The loot increase is always good, always, and shrines are only sometimes good. So it's just a completely stupid decision for the most part to give the shrine to yourself. But
Yeah.
he proposed a very elegant solution where you could still keep like the give the shrine to yourself for the people who think that they're like coughing babies and that they need the buff for the boss fight. That's fine. Let them make that choice if they want. But the rarity is too good. It's just it's to the point that that is the only choice, and so now it's boring. So he said instead of rarity, make it a quant increase and make it two different options to where the map boss gives 25% more currency, or it gives 25% more. I think he said gear, or like a 25% higher chance for unique or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
like, don't do A and B. Do an A, B, and C, because right now for that node, the answer is A. It's just A. And that's not a big deal, but if that happens in several places of the tree, you're gonna be like, okay, well, Gigi said we would have choices, but is the choice like kick a table on purpose to stub your toe, or eat a nice delicious cheesecake? Like those are my choices. So I don't actually have a choice, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's one of those things that I also agree. I don't like to harp on GGG too much. They're very intelligent designers. If they see that a lot of their choices aren't choices at all, they'll just buff the other choice, or they'll make a third choice, or they'll find some way to make it more interesting. And I don't think that should really that wouldn't be too much dev time. They could probably patch that in like the first couple of weeks.
Yeah, I would agree. I find myself saying that to myself very often when I'm talking about like PoE 2 and 1 is like I feel like they're such trusted and good devs that it's like one of the only dev teams you can truly say like, yeah, I could see this being a problem, or yeah, this is a problem in my opinion, but honestly, like I'm not even like that worried about it because like I think
No.
they'll fix it, you know, if it ends
Yeah.
up being that way. Um, yeah, we're getting a new pinnacle. I really don't think there's anything to really talk about here. I mean, that it's cool, but like we don't
Yeah.
know the fight.
I
It's just
mean, they
we're getting a
wanted
new
they
pinnacle.
wanted to
Yippee!
keep it more of a surprise. It's like an angel dude in plate armor, and he has like a spear,
Yeah,
and
we
they showed
saw
like one
one of his
attack.
moves. He does like
It looks
double
cool.
swipe and then he blasts
Yeah.
titty juice at
Uh,
you.
he looks cool. That's all.
Yeah,
We'll see.
Arbiter of Ash is no longer the biggest bad. He's now the
No,
biggest
he's
bad.
middle management.
And the only thing I want to say about that is the Chris Wilson interview with John where he was like, John was like, I don't really like how people, how like sometimes games will say, there's this big boss, but he's not the only one. There's more coming. It's like you
Yeah.
get to the end game, it's like this is the very peak of the game and you're fighting this guy. But like the vibe can no longer be that like you're fighting the pinnacle. It
Yeah.
He likes a lot more of the theme where it's like this is the biggest guy until further notice. Like you're in a world where this is the biggest bad. There won't be a bigger bad until we decide that there's a bigger bad. And
Yeah.
then Chris Wilson made like the Diablo 4 joke or the Diablo joke where they always say
Yeah.
like,
Diablo is not in Diablo 4
yeah,
still. Like I think like 3 years after the game came out.
and it's like,
I don't
oh,
know how that. I don't.
he's
It's the
coming.
only
He'll be
Diablo
here
game.
someday.
It's the only Diablo game that doesn't have Diablo in it. I don't know how they fucked that up, but
When they
um,
need the milk, that's when they'll drop it. They'll be
yeah.
like, oh, we need
But
this to be a good one.
let me know. Side note: let me know the next time that you are good for a ramble, because I need to tinkle as well.
Mm. Sorry, eat my yogurt.
Very
Um,
professional podcasters.
yeah. Um, yeah, I can go on a bit of a ramble here.
Yeah, spin me a yarn.
All right. Um, so the new ascendancies. There's two new ascendancies. The Spirit Walker for the Huntress, and the new monk ascendancy, the Martial Artist. Um, I think that in a way, like I Talkative Try was saying that I feel like a lot of the ascendancies they've dropped after like 0.1 that weren't initially released with the game have like almost like there's not it's not like all the ones that released with the game are like bad or anything or like anything near that. It's more so that like it seems like all the new ascendancies that they released after the game dropped initially have been like just a slight step up, or maybe even like a higher step up than that. Like a bit more depth, just like just some really, really like cool shit that's above the others. Um, it's almost like they've had just a little bit more thought, just a little bit more thought put into them, but not like a ton, just a little bit at least. There's so many amazing things with these ascendancies, like the fact that like you don't need the weapon, right? That's what it is. You socket rune, you can socket runes into your body, which by the way I think is really really cool. Um, you don't use any fist weapons, you just use your gloves and I don't even know, like I don't even really know a ton about this ascendancy. Honestly, like I think Nick will want to talk about that one whenever he comes back. Sorry, Archive Esoterica will want to talk about that when he comes back because that is the one he's doing as his league starter, guaranteed. He's already set his mind to it. So I'm going to talk more about the Spirit Walker, which I'm thinking about doing for my.
You're damn right. I will talk about the martial artists.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I.
So,
Yeah, okay.
go ahead.
I was gonna say, I haven't gone as much into it. I'm sure you have looked at it a lot closer to me. The one that
Yeah.
I like a lot more that I might go, also might not, depending on how I feel on launch day, I guess. But I think the new Huntress Ascendancy looks really cool. By far the most interesting Huntress Ascendancy, in my opinion. Which it kind of like talks about how like in some of these patches where they're just releasing ascendancies, they come out like really, really cool with a ton of depth. Like everyone, whenever they saw like the sorcerer ones are cool. They're cool and all, like the ones that release with the game. But like the Jinn sorcerer that uses like all the different kinds of Jinns and uses abilities off of their Jinns that they summon, everyone saw that and was like, holy shit. Now, like it wasn't a super amazingly popular class, but like everyone saw it and was clearly like, this looks crazy. I feel that way whenever I look at this. Like, I look at the other huntress ascendancies, and I'm like, yeah, so like you throw a spear here, huh? But like then I look
Yeah,
at
like you
this
have more
one,
numbers, huh?
yeah. But then I look at this one, and it's like, yeah, so you're summoning all of the Asmiri spirits. Like you can specialize into the bear or the owl, which increases your projectiles, or you can go with the stag, which creates like stampedes of stags that run over packs of enemies, or you can just say, "Hey, I'd like to go all three." And you have like the bear jumping in and charging through, the stampede of stags going over. My dogs are tweaking. Genuine, like, bro.
To be honest, it's not coming through.
Holy shit! The mic settings are crazy. They are actually both zooming through the the dining room at breakneck speeds. Um. Anyway, uh, yeah, just having all these things happening at once, and also like that's what I'm most excited for. Like I thought it looked cool whenever they just showed that, and then immediately they were like, "Oh yeah," and you can also tame bosses. Like taming is a skill in the game, but with this ascendancy, you can effectively tame like bosses and not just like some bosses like most video games I feel like would have you do. You can tame any boss, it seems, like the beast bosses. So
Yeah,
like
any
the
boss that's a beat.
Chimera from the Trial of Chaos,
Mhm.
the Hitler bird
From
from
Trial of
from
Chaos.
Child of Chaos.
You can
The
do the
other
pregnant
bird, the
bird
much less
from the
threatening
Trial of Chaos.
bird. The monkey, which seems to be like I feel like that's more of like a haha meme one. Like, do I actually think that that's going to be the best? I thought the Crowbell looked badass. Like, that was honestly like one of the coolest things. I'd probably have that one for a long time until I
Good
got to
AV on
the
that
Trial
guy.
of Chaos. But like he's using like in the clip that they use here, he's using like the massive bell swing and like he does two big swings of the bell and wipes out an entire pack of mobs that the bear just jumped on. It just looks like like it looks so badass. Like there's so much going on. Um, and yeah, I mean, it looks very interesting to me, and I almost want to try it, but like, there's something we'll talk about whenever we get to the delirium section that like I feel like due to how I've played Path of Exile 1 like the past 3 times that we play or every time that we've played that league or every time that we played that game, um I feel like it's almost thematic for me as a person to have to go. Um but yeah, I mean that ascendancy looks crazy. And then the other ones are just like, yeah, so I like throw a spear sometimes. Um in my opinion. In my
Yeah, I
thoughts.
feel like with PoE2 ascendancies, and they might try and give. So like Ranger came out with PoE2, right? And that's a PoE1 class, and they basically shipped the PoE1 ascendancies right along with them, with like Deadeye and Pathfinder.
Yeah.
And they shipped those, and they're like a little bit different than their PoE1 incarnations. But what's been like really noticeable is that PoE2 ascendancies seem to be, here are some skills only accessible to this ascendancy. You can make a build off of this.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
here is a very unique alteration to the way that mechanics in the game work. So you can make many builds off of this. Like it might not be specifically we intend for you to be a boss tamer. Like
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure for the martial artist, you can, when you actually read the text of the ability, the stance where he just like monk, like he just stances up in place and then like shadow clones of himself will cast the ability that's socketed into the skill.
Yeah.
It's not quarterstaff abilities, it is any martial skill. So if that's true, bows, crossbows, maces, um there's more. Obviously quarterstabs, the any martial. So if that is actually true, you don't just have to be monk with like a quarterstaff build. That enables anyone who might want to like basically totems are for spells because martial artists exist. Just because of this ascendancy, nothing else.
Yeah.
Now totems, air quotes, exist for martial characters if they want. You could do a monk build with lightning arrow where you sit and you om
And you
and
summon
your
like
fucking
archers that
your
fire
shadow
lightning arrows.
clones lightning arrow for you or whatever. Or you could do mace skills where you could have the forge hammer skill yourself. You could do like a fire monk where you're specializing on fire damage and burn and whatever, and you use the forge hammer from warrior, the thing where you throw it and then when you do a shout, when you do a battle cry, it will activate the forge hammer and create this like spiraling circle effect of fire. I'm Tyler,
Yeah. Yeah,
Sir
I know what you're
Package
talking
has
about.
seen me do it on my warrior. You could throw that down and then you could start channeling and have your shadow clones do earthquake. That's what it's called. It's a mace slam that causes the fissures on the forge hammer to erupt into like fire patterns. So you could just do like a whole fire monk that uses like mace skills and burns and whatnot. Whereas normal quarterstaff monk, if you're like playing the class as intended, they don't interact with fire really at all. But
Yeah.
now just because of this hollow stance thing, you've basically invented a new type of build, which is automated martial skills. Whereas
Yeah.
automation throughout all of PoE history basically has been exclusive to spells through totems and whatnot. There's some like niche cases in PoE 1 where like there's a totem that you can specifically only put bow skills in. But as long as that text
Mm.
stays the same, martial artists just created a new build type just through the ascendancy.
Yeah.
Whereas PoE1 ascendancies have been like, while you're holding a shield, deal 10% more damage. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Oh
Or like,
yeah.
gain more max block chance for every like massive amount of armor or massive amount of evasion. There's like a gladiator node. And they're great. They're good for the game that they're in, like the PoE1 stuff, a lot of them are a lot more simplistic. Some of them are a little cooler. Like I know Witch has Blood Mage in PoE1 as well, and the Ascendancy node where they just cast all of their spells with mana. That's cool. That like solves a problem and it changes how you build your character and yada yada. Some of those things still exist in PoE1, but PoE1 in general, the Ascendancy classes were just number increases for the most part, where it seems like their goal for their Ascendancy classes in PoE2 is to create playstyles
Yeah,
that that character wants to do.
whenever PoE1 or yeah, whenever PoE1 ascendancies add like something new to the build, it's like the example that I can think of because I've done it a ton of times is like the chieftain, or is the chieftain or juggernaut, whenever you kill something that's like burning, it like
Chieftain.
has a chance to explode. So like, wow, that's like the craziest thing. But like all the other
Yeah,
ones are
it's
kind of just
Chieftain.
like, let me edit the stats on my character, pretty much. Like, let me
Yeah.
have
It's
this stat or that stat. I mean, PoE1 has a ton of depth, but where Ascendancies I feel like is not really where it is. But in
it's
PoE2, it's like
Hinakora Death's Fury.
I am like super playing this Ascendancy. Like you can tell what the different ascendancies are when they're being used.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean that's just two examples there. Well, the two new ascendancies that are coming out, pretty exciting. We didn't get new classes, but I mean, come on, these ascendancies are like crazy, crazy
Yeah.
cool. I'm very excited to see either play it myself or you play it, or see the clips of other people playing it, and how interesting that becomes. I also really like some of the small things that some of the ascendancies do in PoE2. Like you can have runes and you just attach them straight to your character. So you don't
Oh,
even need
100%.
specifically like a weapon slot. You just have extra runes in every slot on your character like itself.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty cool. And they're doing something else kind of. They're adding a new item. I don't know. I don't remember which mechanic it is, but the new jewel that's basically it just takes up a jewel slot, but
It's
then it adds
Delirium.
5 jewel slots. Some shit
Yeah.
like that. Whatever. Up to
Voices from
4.
Delirium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, Delirium has so much going on.
Delirium has so
Um,
much stuff in it.
like some of the best uniques. Oh well, that we know of. That we know of. There's probably
Yeah.
other equally cool ones coming out
There's
with
the
that.
Captain America shield from Breach.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Um,
they're trying to spread it out.
so they're adding Atlas specializations. Uh, I mean, I think it's pretty cool. Obviously, I don't know how one could think that it's not cool. There's tons of room to add either more masters to learn from them, um, or just increase the size of each of the current masters, Jado, Hilda, and Doriani's trees. Um, yeah, they're each of them you can complete. I think all 3 of them their path, but you only get to pick 3 of their 12 options. One
Yeah.
that's been getting a lot of talk about, I talked about this in one of the videos that I said, was Stitch the Flesh, which your maps have an additional revival. That to me gives a similar vibe to the you get a random rune whenever you walk into a boss. Like you're actively choosing not to buff, like drops or
Yeah.
wards, or like add a different mechanic to your map, or I don't know what all the options that are grayed out
Yeah.
are. It only shows us the 3. But like one is 100% increased rarity of items dropped by magic monsters. If somebody says, "Nah, I'm not going to go that. I'm going to go your maps have an additional revival." That's definitely like they you can tell they just
You're
put
not
some
in
stuff in for casuals.
you're not in your own corner. You're like you're on the enemy team as the player picking these options. Like you already think you're gonna lose before you've even gone into the map. Bro, you can't have that mentality. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean I think it's
You just see what
cool
happens.
that that's an option,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
guess, but like,
it's cool that it's an option, but like it's another
you
one of
know,
those things where like you can choose to go into a test and pick all of the wrong answers. You can
Yeah.
do that. You have
Yeah.
free will,
Yeah, but you're
but
stupid if you do.
but I'm anti-casual. No,
I
I believe in the dad gamer. You don't need that portal, man. You don't need that portal.
Yeah.
You
Pat
should get the
yourself on the
loot.
back, chug a brewski, do the pinnacle. You know, hey.
That's what I'm saying. But
Now,
yeah,
honestly, depends. Your maps have an additional revival. Is that just normal maps, or does that count as like you're walking into a pinnacle boss? That
Pinnacles,
would be pretty cool.
you may have missed it. They just said Pinnacles have unlimited attempts now. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, I
Yeah.
assume if they're doing that, that means that the pinnacle starts with full health every time you walk in. You can't like
Yeah.
chip away over and
Yeah,
over
no,
like
you
a
you
hundred
can't no,
tries.
you can't death wave it. No.
It's like you either go in, and if you got the dick for it, you do. But if you don't, you don't.
Yeah.
So
But
okay, I guess.
they wanted to they actually went into it and they explained that because what they found was that in the psychology of their players and also their testers, and I think this happened all of the time, and this happened the streamers they were talking to, like I know Try commented on it that this exact thing happened to him. The problem that happens when you limit the attempts on a pinnacle is it assigns so much importance to the boss because it's a lot of work to get to a pinnacle. You don't just arrive at endgame and they're like, "Hi, do you want to fight the Arbiter?" Especially with the old system where people were playing endgame for like 150 hours and they haven't found the amount of citadels they need to access the Arbiter.
Dear
Like
Lord, thank God
it
that
is
is not going to be the
such
case anymore.
it is such a time investment to get to a pinnacle boss that they found that when they put portals on it, people were too scared to do it, and two things happened. They either paid someone else who's already killed it to like carry them,
Yeah,
cringe, or they massively overgeared for the fight and ruined it for themselves because by the time that they felt they were ready to attempt it, they just like one shot them.
yeah,
So they find when you limit the attempts on something that is so hard to get to anyway, people are just less likely to actually try to do it. So they removed the attempt limit, and like as long as you are logged into the game and you have like opened a pinnacle attempt, you can keep trying. There's no like, oh, you got it to 10% health on the sixth try or whatever, but like too bad, it doesn't close
yeah,
anymore. But so it's not going to be like a cheese thing where you like open it and then you fail today, so you log off and you'll do it a week later. Like it doesn't stay open indefinitely. They said it stays open for the play session that you opened it in. So maybe within the same day you could like decide like you could give up on that attempt and then go farm for 4 hours and then retry it. You could do that. But they basically said I think it's 15 minutes after your character logs off, the pinnacle goes away.
okay. Um, yeah, I mean, I remember hearing Try say that he kind of liked because before it was you get a limited amount of attempts, but the health you do on each attempt, like the damage you do, stays. So you kind of
Yeah.
like, and I also like that. I like the aspect, like the idea of chipping away, but also I also believe that like I think I like the new thing probably equally as much if I'm being honest, like the way I feel about it, just thinking about it, not actually like doing it yet because now it's almost like you can kind of like Elden Ring it. Like I will fight this thing 100 times and maybe I'll
Yeah.
beat it on attempt
Yeah.
101.
I
But
could just get
like
good.
yeah, and like because I mean the pinnacles do have those like I don't
They
know
are mostly
like
they
they
are
have their
mostly
move
not number
sets.
checks. They are
Yeah.
mostly not there's no like you need to do this much DPS to do this boss. If you can do the mechanics well enough, you can do Arbiter with like 50k DPS.
Yeah, they've got like that
It'll
Dark
be
Souls
dreadful.
esque type of mechanic to it where it's like I think that'll be useful for a lot of people, like people who feel like they need maybe like 10 or so tries to learn the moves and kind of like learn the audio cues and things like that,
Yeah.
just like you would with a Dark Souls boss, and then go in. It's like, okay, I think I'm confident in this. As long as I dodge the mechanics and I hit my shit, then
Yeah.
I'll get them down eventually. and they can have a bunch of tries at that. So I think there'll be cool moments like that where somebody's on like has their like Elden Ring death counter to the side, and they're on like
Yeah.
attempt 324 of the pinnacle, and they were like, I told you
Yeah.
guys I'm doing this right now. And they get it on 325 or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean that'll be cool.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean I think I I think it's a good change because I don't really see what's lost. And I
yeah,
think the only thing that could be lost is like the metaphorical like ego bragging, whatever of like, oh, well, I beat the Arbiter of Ash before they gave you unlimited attempts. Okay. Who cares though? I don't know, just let me like attempt it and then let me decide when I'm done. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
from a bossing perspective of like, oh, he's kicked my ass too many times. I'm just gonna go do something else.
yeah.
Um, I mean, rip to your experience bar though. Like, if you do, never attempt a boss when you're over 20% XP on a level. Don't do it. Like you got to do that shit fresh. You know what I'm saying?
True.
But but yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Um, so now we get to Delirium. That one. I mean, I really like that. I mean, obviously for all the other mechanics, they're pretty much adding like a new pinnacle. For Delirium and Breach, they're adding kind of like the bars at the bottom of the screen, so you can
Mhm.
see how far you are into your um Delirium map and your like
Yeah.
breach circle, and how close you are to like getting the breach circle to, how long until it closes. You'll be able to see like the bar for that. I think that that's just really cool for the look of
There's an
things.
additional mechanic to Breach now though. You want to fill up your secondary bar before the timer bar expires.
Oh yeah,
That's a
for
part of then the breach will stabilize and you'll get to basically do the breach part 2, which is a breach hive. And that was basically the PoE1 rework that they did that we
mm,
didn't play, but they basically copy pasted it into the game. So you
yeah,
have the original breach mechanic, and if you pass your breach mechanic, which means like your DPS was fast enough, you killed things fast enough, it stabilizes, and then you enter stage 2, where you go back to the center of where the breach started, and now there's like this big like structure of like elite mobs and maybe a boss that you
yeah.
have to like kill, and that's what drops the pinnacle resource
Okay,
for breach now. So I just want to point that out because it's a lot more important for breach now. Like the bar isn't it's not just your timer, it's also you want your killiness to surpass your timer and like fill up the bar.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah. I I mean, I like how in the Delirium bar it like shows you like the three levels of like completing it.
Yeah, the
That
reward thresholds.
Yeah, the reward threshold. So whenever like you get to, halfway through, 75% of the way through, 100 of the way through, to the end of the map, that it'll show you like at so like you'll know if the delirium is starting to close, or like the delirium is going to be close to closing, that you're
Yeah.
like maybe this close, and you just need to push just a little harder to get the reward. I think just the clarity is pretty cool. Um, whenever you whenever you do them, and you can, I get, it says consumes a strange fruit, bro. I don't even know what the fuck that means, but calls a fog across the atlas. So it like puts a fog over like a bunch of different maps, and it like creates that delirious kind of group of maps where each one as you go on gets a
Yeah.
little more delirious and hard and has more rewards to
So,
it.
you know,
And then whenever you clear all of the fog, and you could clear like the hardest, like most difficult at the end of the fog map, that's how you get. Um, it says earn passage to the Raven Trickster's domain. That's the new pinnacle
yeah.
boss encounter. So you clear the delirium fog trails, that get significantly harder as you move along, and then you'll get access to the pinnacle boss, which pretty neat.
Yeah. So the strange fruit thing, another like a little clarification. For the strange fruit, when you encounter it's omnophobia and
Isn't there like
Belos, the last revelation, those like two the current breach
yeah,
or the current delirium bosses that exist in Simulacrum 1 and 2.
yeah, they seem like they just
Um
randomly spawn into the maps as it is like
yes,
right
they
now.
spawn into deliriums, and when you kill them, they drop the strange fruit.
Yeah, okay.
So now not every delirium will have them, but when they do spawn, you're like, "Oh, yes, now I'm progressing towards the pinnacle boss."
Now, something that people were talking about how there's a lot of new runes. I feel like people weren't really specifically talking about there's a lot of new liquids now and instilling.
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't remember the exact number and it's not saying here right now, but there are like critical strike chance, movement speed. Um, Basically, they made it so that all of the liquids are now there's like a determination. That's not the word. For jewels, like usually right now in jewel crafting,
Deterministic crafting.
yeah, deterministic. That's what it is. There's now more deterministic crafting for jewels where each of the each of the emotions, distilled emotions, have some kind of value that it puts on each of the like four different types of jewels, whether that be ruby, sapphire, emerald, or diamonds. Um, some don't give a bonus to diamond. Some, like more of the rarer ones, do. This one, for
Yeah.
example, concentrated liquid isolation, plus 1% to maximum fire resist on a ruby, cold resist on a sapphire, lightning on an emerald, chaos on a diamond. Um, so they're adding a bunch of these, and with that, they're also adding like new combinations for instills that you can put on like new notables that you can put on your jewelry. So,
Oh, that's cool.
um, yeah, there's more deterministic crafting for jewels because I felt like this was needed, but it isn't something I like ever thought about whenever I was making a video talking about it. In the past two patches, 0.3, 0.4, which we played, every time I get a jewel, man, I'm just like, okay, it has two things that are like kind of neat, and like you slam an exalt on it and you pray, and it's like, oh, maybe a third thing that's kind of good for you, and then you slam another exalt on it and you pray, and it's like, oh yeah, it bricked, nice, cool. And usually
Yeah.
99% of the time, like you end up with something that you're settling for or that you bought off the trade. Now at least it's like, hey, if you got like three good things, I don't know if you can instill multiple times. I don't think you can.
I think it's just one.
Yeah, I think it's just one. But if you have at least three good things, you're not bricking it on the fourth at least. Like you can kind of find the emotion and like play delirium, get the emotion that actually like buffs or like puts that specific thing on your jewel, which is really really nice. I'm very happy about that. What were you saying? That's pretty cool.
Oh, I was just like, so I also joined the being on the website just to follow along a little nicer, and their example for like a new notable installation, because not all of them are on the tree, is augmented flesh with
Two skill
two
shots.
copies of Liquid Suffering and then one that I don't recognize. But yeah, this combination is just grants two additional skill slots for you button pressing enjoyers. You want to press more buttons. I have like on my warrior, I would say when I got very late game, there came a time when I had to stop using skills because I didn't have enough like slots.
Yeah.
Like there was genuinely too many buttons I wanted to press on my warrior, which maybe I'll take this.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of cool combinations, I'm sure. Very excited to see all the new augments to people's jewelry, but also, I mean, I think the thing I'm most excited for, honestly, are like the new options and being able to just point and click it onto a jewel. and saying like,
Yeah.
"Oh, thank God," because like Joel's, I think, are like one of the most cock and ball torture things until now to kind of like get a good version of.
Yeah.
Um, or like a really good version of it. Like you can get like a solid one, but yeah, you're settling some of the times. Um, and then it shows two of the uniques that drop from the new Pinnacle boss. After you conquer the Simulacrum, you fight Tangmazu, and you can get Horror Flight, Engraved Bracers, or the Raven's Flock. Oh,
Oh.
now I don't really, who cares about the Horror's Flight? We don't really, hey, pointless. Hey, who cares? No, hey, bad. Boo. Now, the staff, however, Ravenous Flock, the Raven's Flock, Spiraling Conspiracy, that's Righteous Fire. Um, I am of the hope and dream that they will just straight up add Righteous Fire someday, like to the game. It doesn't even have to be a copy paste as it is in like PoE1. If they want to make it like an ice Righteous Fire where things like freeze after they're around you in a circle, but also like take some damage because they get like hypothermia or something, and then like they explode into ice shards. You can like do build with that. They can do whatever kind of theming they want, but like this is currently what it is. It basically just Righteous Fire, or maybe in the future, because it says it grants skill level 18 Spiraling Conspiracy. Maybe they're planning in the future with a new class or ascendancy to just make Spiraling Conspiracy a spell, like that's just in the game that you don't have to have this weapon for or the staff for. That would also be fine. But yeah, this is Righteous Fire. This is the thing where it's like I'm I'm possibly going to go this. I just have to really hope that I can last 78 levels without headbutting a wall or headbutting a knife. Um, with playing a regular minion build until then. Um,
Bro, minions
but
are sick.
I assume whenever you use this, you it like you don't have minions anymore. It like turns off your minions. So you're no
I don't think
longer
it
a
turns
minion
off your
guy.
minions because it
In
says
in the
like
video
on
that
the
they
text
showed,
of
they didn't
the.
have any minions. You know what I
I think
mean?
that was just I think that was an intentional choice because like it was focusing on the staff. It nowhere on it does it say you can't have minions. And even on the staff it says 34% increased spirit reservation efficiency of skills. So it seems
Okay.
like, it's gonna cost less spirit to have minions. But what like so here something that I'm not thinking of or that I wasn't thinking of quite at first is spiraling conspiracy is a minion. And at least with all
Yes.
of the other minions that I'm aware of, like I knew that it was a minion, but now that I've specifically played a minion build, you can spend more spirit to summon more of a minion. So
Yes.
maybe the more spirit you have on your build, the more default ravens that you can actually have.
Maybe increases the damage or the AoE. So like if you
Yeah.
want to have minions and just like a small circle around you that deals like a little bit of damage, like a decent amount of damage, then you can do that. But if you want to have like basically super righteous fire and take all your spirit reservation and just throw it into um like take yourself down to 0 minions and put them all into the spiraling conspiracy, that could be because I can't remember what it was. Oh no, I think it's killing something. Whenever things are inside of it, it increases in size. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, if there's a way to just do that where you increase the DPS or the AOE or the radius or whatever, but have no minions, I would prefer that. But I think either is fine, really. Um, but that would be cool if it worked that way. All right. Talking about Breach, you talked about it a little bit. Um, yeah, there's a display indicator now that
Mhm.
shows how you're extending the encounter time. And it goes up based on like how many things that you're killing. Um, you have to resist the invasion long enough to stabilize the breach. Uh huh. Uh huh. Uh huh. And that's whenever the hardest enemies come out. Um, that's kind of just standard breach plus keepers of the flame stuff. The Genesis tree people who played PoE 1 for Keepers of the Flame League are very interested, but also cautiously, I guess, cautiously optimistic about it because
Yeah.
I think that what I heard from people talking about it whenever this was revealed was that in PoE 1 there's something wrong with it clearly that has
It's not
soured it in some of
it's
their
not
minds.
it's not that it's something wrong with it as if it's not a worthy mechanic. The problem with Keepers of the Flame is that the PoE 1 incarnation of the tree was way bigger than this. Like you see all of the nodes on the site. There
Yeah.
were more nodes for the tree. The Genesis tree in PoE 1 could craft all forms of gear, and it enabled such
Ah.
just like how they showed in the showcase, how you can say rings never roll mana or rings always roll mana. That was an option. So you could do boots always roll movement speed. Boots always have um fire resist. Boots
Yeah.
never have a stun threshold or reduced shock or any other shit like you don't want. You could literally like make it so that the in PoE 1 you could birth a boot and it's a rare and you guarantee that it rolls movement speed, fire resist, ice resist, and lightning resist, and then manually craft the last two slots onto your boots. It made gear so good and so consistent that there is a threshold for an ARPG where everyone wants the perfect item, but if you
Yeah.
can just have the perfect item, it means nothing. And the problem with that league with the PoE 1 Genesis tree is that it was so fucking good that there was no reason to do anything else.
That's
So
definitely the vibe that I got.
people just got bored with it because they were like, well, I don't need to do delirium to do XYZ. I don't need to do bestiary so that I can beastcraft on my gear. Why the fuck would I beastcraft on my gear? I have to like search for some like specific spider because this spider is the only thing that lets me do this craft. Why would
Yeah.
I do that? I could do the Genesis tree and just print a perfect rare chest to craft on or whatever. And it did it for all forms of gear. So the difference with this one is that it's only jewelry, amulets and rings. So you might get some really bomb ass jewelry from the womb tree, and it also
And
does
belts.
currency and belts. Yes.
And I guess breach
So so
stones, which are
so
like something.
belts, rings, and breach stones are how you actually do the pinnacle.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, belts, rings, amulets, and currency if you're not looking to craft anything like at the moment. But
Yeah, it's
yeah,
definitely the
that
vibe that
was
I
the
got
problem is that it was
off
just
of
too
watching
good.
them. Like Zizarin, I remember during the reveal, like whenever I was watching his perspective of it, um, he like when it said Genesis tree crafting, he was like, "Oh, this is how everybody's going to make their gear." And then, like 1 second later, he like after he saw um that it was just like the jewelry pretty much in the belt, and he was like, "Oh, okay, this is just how everybody will make their rings." And
Yeah, this is just how everyone will do their jewelry. Yeah.
yeah,
Which,
and it's like,
yeah.
okay, all right, he doesn't seem super excited about it, but he's saying we'll use it. That's nice. Um,
Yeah.
so I mean, we'll have to see. We'll just have to see how it goes because I could see a world where even if this one is a little bit toned down in PoE 2, we have the all the omens, which people have like found combinations of omens to like get all the most perfect shit.
Yeah.
I mean that's been toned down a little bit because like people were making literally like the perfect god items at like the top tiers of crafting in 0.3. And I know they toned it down a little bit for 0.4, but if you can get like 80% of the way there in Genesis tree crafting, I think you can probably get the extra 20% afterwards with omens.
And even if you only if you, oh my god, even if you only ever
Porky
get
Pig
the
episode.
80 even if you only get the 80% ring. The reason I think it's fine is because it's limited to jewelry. I think that is like a really big difference.
Yeah.
The average dad gamer who doesn't want to churn through crafting 300 different rings just to get the ring he actually wants. If the average dad gamer can, like, say in the PoE2 version, he can shit out a 3 suffix or like just a 3 affix ring that has 3 ones he knows that he wants.
Yeah.
I mean, you just slam some exalts on there, you see what happens, right? Like, I think that's a very satisfying. It's very satisfying to have a good place to start that isn't just like a white item or like a blue that has one good mod that you want. Just knowing that you have 3 of the mods out of 6 done from the get-go, that you set it up so that you get the ones you want. I think that's pretty satisfying for the average player. That's something worthy of investing into.
Yeah. Um Another thing is I, so I like what it doesn't show it on this website here, but there was something where like you put rings on the fingers of like a tree or something like what are
Yeah,
you
so
even saying? Like I
you
don't
can
even know
put
what's
60
happening.
you can put 60 rings on the finger tree because the finger tree likes to be blinged up. That's about it, man.
But
So,
like what does
okay.
that do? Does that are those
Okay,
like when you put it on the finger tree, is that like all the buffs on the rings you get during like when you're in like the breach pinnacle area or
no.
like doing specifically breach like
No.
what
No,
is the
because that
point
would
of
be too
blinging
strong.
that out?
So let me tell you why. All right, I have insider knowledge, right?
Okay.
And by insider knowledge, I mean I know stuff about PoE
Things.
1 a little bit more. Um, there is a vendor recipe for PoE 1, and okay, you ready? This is gonna blow your mind away.
Blow
The
my wiener right
vendor,
now.
I'm gonna blow your wiener right off. The vendor window is 60 grids. Or it's a 60, it's 30 by 30. It's 60 squares in total, which
Uh-huh.
means since a ring is only one square, you can sell 60 rings. So
Uh-huh.
in PoE 1, there was a unique that you would get if you sell 60 breach rings to a vendor. It was like one of those like special recipes where if you sell the right combination of thing to a vendor, you get not just like basic currency shards and shit. You like it was a recipe. So
Yeah.
if you sell specifically 60 breach rings to a vendor, you would get I have to fucking look up uh grasping mail. That's what it's called. Um so it's like
Uh-huh.
you would get grasping mail, which is this like really really good unique base that requires 60. It's actually not a unique gear, it's a unique base type that requires the 60 breach ring sacrifice, and then it gives you armor, evasion rating, and energy shield. I think it's the only triple statted defensive armor in the game.
Okay.
And then it has its own unique uh ones, like the one I'm looking at right now. It has its own unique affixes that only grasping mail can have. Like evasion rating is increased by your overcapped cold resistance. You know?
Ah.
Yeah, or so it's like it has its own unique exclusive mods that only grasping mail can give you. So it's one of those like ultra high investment. Um, you can get some of the craziest chest armor you've ever seen in your life, kind of thing in PoE 1. So because there are no longer vendor recipes, because when you sell something to someone in PoE 2, you just get gold now.
Yeah.
There's no vendor recipes. People are saying you had to put 60 rings into a vendor to get grasping mail. You gotta put 60 rings on the bling tree, so it'll bling you out with the grasping mail in PoE 2. So it might be that we're getting a new like ultra good base type armor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. I mean I like it when they do that where they're like combining a lot of the mechanics and adding a lot of like synergies. Like we didn't really talk about it, but I think there's one where the Asmiri spirit can fly into like I think a strong box.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
Asmiri spirit I can it fly into a mirror, or was that just that we
I think
know
that was
of
like a I
in
don't know, I
the
think that was
trailer?
a cinematic animation for the Delirium pinnacle.
Yeah,
But
that
I remember I know what you're talking about that they said that the Asmiri spirit can inhabit a couple of new things now because like there's nothing going on with the Asmiri spirit. So they
yeah.
made it interact with like a couple of different mechanics.
They also made
I think you're right on the strongbox, but I don't know if it's for Delirium, but it
I
might be.
I know that there's like they added new Atlas tree um things for it like that are really good where basically you have like a I think it's like a chance to get like a super Asmiri spirit that flies to like once you kill a rare with an Asmiri spirit, it'll just go to the next one and it'll just do that
Yeah, that it
for the
keeps
whole
chaining,
time.
yeah.
There's also one where it's like you
It
can
ignores rares,
yeah, it ignores rares and goes
but it
straight to
always
the
goes to the
boss.
boss. Yeah.
That's probably on one node. That's probably the two choices I
Yeah.
would assume. It's either every rare or you just get it on the boss. Um, but I also like that, with the very new mechanic with like the rune system, they're putting that on expedition. I like a lot of the chaining and a lot of like the combining you can do of
Of
different
mechanics.
mechanics.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, it's showing like the last thing for Breach. There's this crazy unique. A lot of people are really excited for uh the grenade launcher. I'm not sure what mechanic that comes with or like where that comes from. The grenade launcher specifically. I don't remember if he said in the video, but the
Yeah.
shield comes from I think the pinnacle in
Tall or
Breach.
Tau.
Um,
No, that's not the pinnacle. It's there are so Breach is a very detailed mechanic and it's like ultra end game. When they did the Breach rework, there used to just be these in old Breach PoE1 style. There were these Breach Lord bosses that were like they literally had the same animation rig as the player classes. So
yeah,
there was one that was a marauder, there was one that was a duelist, there was one that was a witch or whatever. And they were very low effort, like they do some spells. To be fair, Breach was one of the earliest PoE1 leagues ever. So this is like when they were still like an actual small indie company and whatever. But they
yeah,
made these Breach Lord bosses with the rework of PoE of Breach and PoE1 in the Keepers of the Flame. They made all of the Breach Lords like actual bosses. So they're now like full effort, fully detailed bosses. So the shield comes from Tal or Tall. It's Tal, the name, and
yeah.
she's only one of 5 of the Breach Lords. So she's not even the pinnacle. She's just like
Okay,
one of them. So there's for all we know, there's going to be unique for each Breach Lord, but hers is the shield. And I mean that's really fun.
okay. Yeah, I mean, I was basically just gonna say about it like I really I love the shield. Like the fact that they're making uniques that almost look like I mean, we don't know how it's going to play, what the balancing is going to be, if there's any, what the builds are going to be for it. But it almost looks like the shield itself could be made into its own build. Similar to how like you could basically play a righteous fire build. Like yeah, you have to go minions for a while. But you could be righteous fire in the end game if you use the staff.
Yeah.
And that's like obviously a different build than just minions. Like the shield has two different abilities that you specifically need the shield to do. Has like a shield toss, and then like you can activate it to go on like a big slam, and then like there's like another big like slam, like an echo to the slam that you can get somehow. And I'm sure like, you can like do a whole build based around that. I mean, I just think it's crazy because like 99%, 99.9% of the uniques in both PoE1 and PoE2 until this patch are just like, yeah, like some of them do unique things that you can only find on that one unique weapon, but or that one unique piece, but it doesn't it's like okay, yeah, you get like you permanently have onslaught and that's cool.
Yeah.
But does that like change holistically the way you're playing the entire game? Eh,
Just makes a martial build better. No, that's
yeah.
it,
Like it
really.
already makes like a build that you're using on slot good nice because then you'll have it permanently. Cool. That's good. But like some of these items are just crazy. I mean, they're adding a new base, so actually this isn't specifically unique to the unique the way I thought it was. But for that grenade launcher, I thought it was going to be the only bow in the game that turns off ammo or like normal strikes with the crossbow and only allows you to use the grenades. But they're making it
Yeah.
a base, so like that's also cool. I'm fine with that. But I mean, still, that item looks crazy. Definitely going to be like crazy good for people who are playing um, grenade build and just want to do grenades. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to say shout out to like GGG for how much depth they're actually putting into uniques now. Like I really do feel like between like all the ones we do and the ones we don't know about even yet, there's going to be at least a few builds that are specifically like, hey, so you do this until you get your unique, and the whole build is that unique. Um, I think that's going to be pretty neat
Yeah.
to see when it comes out.
I mean, I think it's a really cool thing because there comes a point in every PoE character where you've kind of like you've built out your atlas, or not your atlas. You've built out your passive skill tree, and like not most people don't get to 100. 100 is like
Yeah,
it's like a it's like a coveted no life mega sweaty player thing. But you've invested, you get to like 94, 95, 96, maybe 97. Uh, and
yep.
yep.
9-7
And so
and
you've invested your Jesus Christ. You've invested your points, you've gotten all of your skills, you've gotten all of your support gems. You've kind of maxed almost everything out. At this point, I mean, all you're looking for is some like gear upgrades, because gear by far is probably like it's the longest thing to work on. And then at that point, your build really doesn't change like at all. So then at that point, you've already seen what your build does. You've already interacted with all of the special mechanics, and you've gotten your dopamine. And there comes a point in every build's lifespan where all that's left to do is like make the damage number go a little bit up.
yeah,
And then that's eventually when, the natural life cycle of your time with the game comes to an end. You accomplish your goals, and then you're like, I'm bored. And so you stop playing the build. These like hyper late game uniques that give you an entirely new ability can completely transform your build in like a meaningful way. So like if you were like a minion, like for this staff, if you're like a minion player
yeah,
and you've spec'd into minions, but like your minions suck, and you're tired of the minion playstyle, you're tired of marking people and cursing them and waiting for your minions to do all the damage. Oh, woe is me. I think I'm gonna log off. But before I log off, let me fight Tangmazu one more time just for the heck of it. And then he drops like a fucking what's the staff called again? He
Raven's
drops
flock.
the Raven's Flock staff, and he drops it at level 20. Holy shit. And because they did confirm that the level of the spell on the staff is variable. I think it's between 17 and 20.
Okay,
Um but he drops a level 20. What a high roll. And you like pog the fuck out. And you already have all of the minion nodes. You already have like all of these things set up with your tree. So it's not going to take that much effort to rearrange yourself. Like you might change your like supporting abilities. You don't need to curse things anymore. Or you don't need any of your like minion buffer spells anymore. Although you might still, because we don't know if the Raven's Flock is affected by like minion buff stuff. So we don't know. Maybe it is. Like I'm talking like skills you actually use that buff your minions. It might. But the point of the story is it's the same modifiers, but it's a completely different play style in its like vibe, in its theme,
Yeah.
and in the way that it deals damage. So however long that extends that character's lifespan, it will extend the character's lifespan. So I don't. It's cool for uniques to be that late into the game that can still mean something to you when they drop.
Yeah, you can be going, however many levels. You get to 78, and I mean, what I'm gonna do is definitely instantly go for it. Instantly go for the delirium areas. And it's gonna be hard for sure because probably gonna have to fight like what? Tangmazu, I would assume he's gonna be the second pinnacle boss. You have to fight the second pinnacle boss of delirium. So you're probably
Mhm.
gonna you're probably gonna get honestly past level 78, which is like the bare requirements to equip the staff. Unless I like bought it on the auction house from some like speedrunner who has no job and no life, who did it like 3 days ago.
Yeah.
And I'm going for it to like get it dropped myself. And I go fight him. It's probably gonna be like around level 80 something at the earliest, pro maybe even 90 something at the latest. Whenever I'm fighting this guy. And at the drop of a hat, like I click the item and all of a sudden I was a minion build for like the last 20 hours, 20 plus hours of gameplay. And I completely at the drop of the hat switch my entire build play style to be PoE1 Righteous Fire. Um and completely shake up the whole gameplay. And it feels like I'm on a brand new character, and literally all I did was maybe switch around a few nodes, maybe switch around a few abilities, a few support gems, um, and equip this staff.
Yeah.
My
Uh,
only worry is that some of these uniques, and this, I'm worried that I know they nerfed the increase skill, like gem skill level. Um, but I do still worry that it is so important even after this patch that they released all these badass new uniques with badass new spells, and then you get it and then it's like, yeah, but the staff doesn't have +5, the new max, um of increased minion spell skills or increased spell
yeah.
skills, increased spell gem skills. I don't know. Increase the level of your skills.
Make level
That
go
one.
higher.
Yeah, make the number go higher. So like you equip it and it's like, oh yeah, but now I get this, but actually I lost like 40,000 fucking DPS because I don't have any like skill gem levels on
Yeah.
the staff. That's what I worry about. I worry that the only way this will actually work is that if they just straight up remove that shit, which I'd be fine with them doing, honestly, because it's not in PoE1, is it? I don't think it's in, I don't remember it being in
It's in
PoE1.
PoE1 to an incredibly nerfed degree. Or as in they went insane with PoE2 in terms of this specific affix. I'm not entirely sure why. One-handed weapons, so like swords and shit for martial and wands and shit for spells, can
Yeah,
get +1, +2 very, very late game. I'm talking like like mirror tier crafting is like +2 to fire skills. You're like, you
yeah.
know, that's it.
Oh, you're talking about PoE1. I was
PoE
gonna say in
one.
PoE2, it's like you get 9. I think it's
Yeah.
like +9 at the
No.
highest.
Seven is the highest
Oh yes,
in
okay,
PoE 2.
7.
So, but
Oh yeah, and that's why
yeah.
staffs are shit because the highest they can get is +6. Ah,
So
that's so
yeah.
cool.
Yeah. So but yeah. So in PoE 1, the highest you can get, and this like makes an item mirror tier basically, is 2. The highest you can get on a two-handed is 3. So
Yeah, +5 at the
they
absolute
they
highest.
more than doubled it at in PoE2 where like the cap for a two-handed in 1 is 3. The cap for it in PoE2 is 7.
Yeah, that
So
makes sense, I think.
that's a
Yeah,
lot, dude. Like
understandable.
that's a lot. So what I think they might have to do is they already said that they're like nerfing it this patch. It is one of the few balance changes they're going to make.
Yeah, I
They
think at the
might they
highest it's going to be 5.
yeah, they might make the cap 5. And then I think at some point if it's so dominant that it just stifles all creativity out of the game, I think they might just have to throw in the towel and make it like PoE1.
Like make it like the
It
highest is
works
3.
over there. Make it the highest is 3. That's it.
Yeah.
And
But
3 is for two-handed. 2 is for one-handed weapons. Like,
yeah.
but
I mean, do do levels also just like I don't know the math behind all of it. Does the do the levels also just simply straight up matter more in PoE2? Like are there higher base damage increases? Because like you
oh,
could be in a
almost
situation.
certainly.
It's like I also don't want to end up in the situation where they make it okay, fine. 3 is the highest, like in 0 point or 1.0. 3 is
Yeah.
the highest. And then still you get a unique and it's like, well, it doesn't add +3 to my skill gem. So actually it's a hunkin' piece of shit. I was like, oh
I,
man, like
I mean,
I'm
I
so
think
over it.
there's a certain like there's a certain balance you can strike here, right? Like as long as the ability is going to remain unique to the unique
Yeah.
and you don't have to worry about it like being with a generic weapon, just make generic skill man. Like make lightning spear have 500% attack damage mod. Sure, at level 20. If you're worried about comparable, straw man unique lightning skill, whatever, if you want it to be just as good, but it won't be affected by skip spell gem levels because the unique itself doesn't have it, make it start at 650 or
Yeah.
something. Like just make the number bigger on the actual spell itself. Like you can just do that, right? If
No.
if the unique is never going to have if it's going to be impossible to put the what's the word I'm looking for? It's going to be impossible to put spell levels on the unique itself, then just account for whatever the spell levels it could have had. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
just make the number bigger. You know?
Yeah. I mean also I guess like at a certain point it's like if you get to like 3 is the highest, maybe +3 to skill levels is on par with like the tier 1 of just increase fire damage. So it's
Yeah.
like +3 skill gem level is cool, but also like there are other ways of buffing your abilities than just that. And as long as the highest tier of the add levels is on par with the highest tier of add spell damage or add fire or like percentage add fire damage or cold or lightning or whatever, then or like plus tier 1 of your add damage to minion skills, um then it's like then you've struck the balance. So we'll see. I assume because this has been such a hot topic, I would like to hope that they've done a lot of testing and that this is ready to ship and be balanced in the way that it needs to be. I definitely want to believe in them, and I think I do. So I just hope that in like a month I'm not bitching about it. And we'll see when we get there.
I'm
Um,
looking through database abilities just while we're still on this specific topic.
mhm.
Yeah, I mean, Cleave in PoE1 gains 20% mod damage mod per skill gem level after 20. Forge Hammer in PoE2 gains 30. So it seems in a very surface level comparison, it seems that skill gem levels are more available in PoE2 and they're more potent in
Yeah,
PoE2.
because there's like
It just compounds on the problem.
what's that term, like something returns, diminishing returns after level 20 in PoE1
Yeah.
for how much it actually buffs the spell or the skill. Yeah, so yeah, hopefully they can add that, or maybe they are planning on adding that. They just didn't say it, and they're also decreasing the maximum level to 5. We'll have to see. But yeah, onto ritual, which I, unless I'm not remembering it correctly, I don't think it has as much as the other two mechanics. Um, the changes that I actually like remember them really talking about is that I think the things that it offers you on like the favors that it offers you that you can spend tributes on as you get to like harder difficulties of ritual can be just like better things instead of like what it feels like now where it's all just kind of like random. And another one of the biggest changes that both of you and me talked about earlier that we really love is the fact that like you kind of like go in now and it's like, okay, well, I'll just buy everything that I can afford that's like moderately decent. Um, because this tribute doesn't go anywhere once I'm done. Like it
Yeah.
just gets deleted. So I have to I use it all. There's like a pressure to use all of your tribute. But with the new way that they're doing it is that you buy the things that are good for you and then all the excess tribute that you don't use goes towards your progress towards, making a tribute to gain audience with the, meet the pinnacle boss. So hypothetically, if you just said, I'm also going to pass up on things, even if they're like a slight upgrade for me, which I don't think many people do, but I, I did all the other mechanics. I have like my end game build. I just want to fight the ritual pinnacle boss. I'm not going to buy anything pretty much unless it offers me like a divine or some shit. I'm not going to buy anything with my tribute. Every time I see a tribute, I'm just going to offer it straight to the king.
I have a note, Mr. Podcast Man.
Okay, yes, I would like to hear it.
Okay, Mr. Podcast Man. They reworked Ritual. You do not get any currency from Ritual. So one of the reworks is the reward system. Ritual only gives omens for
Omens.
crafting and only gives uniques. So it's either going to be a unique you really want, omens, or tribute to the king. So I'm assuming so you're not just pressing the tribute to the king button all of the time because all of uniques are dog shit.
Holy shit.
I'm assuming that omens are going to be a lot more plentiful now. That it's going to make
Thank God, because
the
like
Roman
90% of the omens are
omens
extremely
you actually
expensive.
want. Yeah, it's going to make the omens you actually want a little cheaper because they're going to be you do ritual for omens. That's and then maybe
Interesting.
sometimes it'll give you a super good unique.
See,
But you do
I've kind of
ritual for
felt
omens.
like it should be that way because like
That's kind of how it
like
already is.
yeah, omens are like the ritual themed thing. But 99% of the time, even whenever I'm doing rituals in like the late game, they offer me like one or two omens.
Yeah.
And like they're usually the really low tier ones. I'm never getting
Yeah,
offered the
like the
one that's
poo-poo
like
ones.
fucking 5 divs. Never getting offered that
Yeah.
one. Um, I'll get offered the one that's like you lose 50% less experience the next time you die. It's like super.
Thanks.
Yeah, I would like to not die, but I guess if I do, I'll have that. Um,
Yeah.
honestly, that's pretty cool. Plus, I hope it, if it's a way to get all these like new badass uniques, um, then I'm definitely cool with that as well. That I like that. I
I
do
think it'll
feel like
also
the ritual
be
system offered a lot of really shit rares 99% of the time.
yeah.
And low tier currency. Like, why are you offering me a transmute? I am level 96. Great. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll take one exalt like as I genuinely blow my shit smooth off on stream. Um that's how I kind of felt. But yeah, no, I really like that. I didn't realize that. Also, okay, so it says the right of the nameless begins a ritual encounter, swelling in power until the map boss is defeated, leaving behind a fragment of an effigy. And it then bleeds into other maps. Okay, similar to how the fog kind of covers other maps.
Yeah.
With each choice you make compounding the difficulty with rewards. Fight your way through and complete it to face the devastating final trial. Now they're adding a lot of people from PoE1 are excited about something like Mage Blood. Apparently it's a really popular unique. Never heard of it.
Mhm.
I mean, I've heard of it. I don't have any idea what it is. I don't think I've ever used it either.
Okay, so Mage Blood in PoE1, people have this is why people have been speculating for it because it interacts with a mechanic that just doesn't exist in PoE2. So we don't know what it does. But
Oh
what
yeah,
it's the one that your elixirs are always on and they have increased
oh,
effect.
I remember what you're talking
So
about.
so like a high roll mage blood is like your elixirs are always on and they're 80% stronger. So you get your like armor elixir, your evasion elixir, your all res elixir, your
Yeah,
crit chance elixir, and your crit damage elixir. And you're just fucking you're statted out of your goddamn gourd. Like, you know,
yeah.
so yeah. I mean, it's so mage blood is like if you're an ultra endgame player for a lot of builds, you either have a mage blood on or a headhunter on. The reason that people don't have those two belts on is because they're so rare. That's it. That's the only reason. So
Okay,
yeah, it's like it's just a super cracked belt. But potions don't, elixirs and whatnot, they don't exist in PoE2. So what people have been speculating on is that it's going to be a charm. Your charms are always active. But the
yeah.
problem with that right now is that charms are fucking lame. They're like gain 25% fire resist when you take a little too much fire damage.
Well, I mean, to be fair, if you
Okay,
got a
bro.
mage blood and you said, "Hey, my 25% fire resist is always on," and like say you had like 25% lightning resist, 25% cold resist.
You can get up to 40 on a rare belt right now. So it's no chase unique if that's the case. I mean,
Okay, yeah, I guess if it's
for
just
for
strictly
it to be
worse than one that just has
for it to be
the.
better than a rare belt
I was
that's
gonna
like
say because
well
like you could
rolled,
like decide
you
to
would have to
not
get
go for
like
resist on other items if you got it on there.
yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I guess it's
and
just be
and
strictly
that's the
worse than
appeal
the
of
amount
Mage
you
Blood
can
in
get.
PoE1. You can get more damage mods and worry less about defense because your resist elixirs are like double strength if it's like a well-rolled Mage Blood.
Okay.
Um no, so like I agree. Uh, I think Mage Blood has to come with them also adding more charms because yeah, the charms are cool now and there's ones that are like stops bleeding whenever you get a bleed effect or whatever. So like it like cancels out the ailment.
Yeah.
It breaks
There's
you
one
out of
that like
freeze when you otherwise would have been frozen.
yeah, one that
And
stops you
like
from being stunned.
yeah. So like you could technically you could have a mage blood that is like you're immune to being frozen, you're immune to being stunned, and you're immune to like poison or bleeding or whatever. You can make it like an immunity belt, but that doesn't like amplify very much, very well. And then also
Mm,
like back in the day with Mage Blood, you can have if you remember, you can roll elixirs. So you can have a crit chance elixir that also has you are immune to freezing while this is active. And because Mage Blood makes it always active,
yeah.
you can bolt again. This compounds into why Mage Blood is such an insane item. You can have immunity to burning, freezing, shocked, bleeding, blind. Not usually blind because blind isn't as important.
I just got
But you can
blinded.
just have full immunity to like all effects just because you have Mage Blood, and then whatever. So it's really good, but because tokens are so poo poo doo doo, or charms, that is, people are assuming if Mage Blood interacts with charms, they're also in the patch notes. They're gonna try to make charms like more meaningful in end game. Because right now they're kind of poo poo.
I mean, I would think that it'd be pretty cool if they you could also do like a thing where maybe now I saw a screenshot. Talking of Try talked about this. There's like a screenshot going around from I don't know like when it was taken during one of the reveals, I guess. But people think that they had the mage blood on and there was like an extra square beside their uh, charms.
Yeah,
So if it was something where it was like adds so 3 charm slots, also adds a bonus maximum charm slot. Well, plus 4 charm slots, adds a maximum charm slot, so you have 4 instead of 3.
yeah,
And all of them are on, and you could even add the prefix if you really want to make it like a chase item, like it was in PoE1. All of your charms are always active and empowered.
Yeah.
And then there's like different things that they could do where it's like instead of 25% of a resist, it could just be maybe 35% of every resist. Like your resist ones would be 35% and have like 10% or like 20% less of a chance to you for you to be inflicted by those ailments associated with
Yeah.
them. There's one where it's like next time you're gonna be slowed, you're not slowed. That's a charm in the game. Next time you're gonna be stunned, you're not stunned. You could make
Yeah.
both of those like that's always on, but whenever you resist a stun or you decide you're not gonna be slowed, or whenever you resist a slow, you also gain a burst of like 25% bonus movement speed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or maybe there's like for the that would be like for the if you don't if you resist the slow, you resist the slow and then
Yeah.
you don't get affected by the slow, and then you also get like 25% bonus movement speed for like 10 seconds. So you basically get a quicksilver sash on top of it.
Yeah.
Quicksilver
Flash.
flask. And then there would be for the stun one, it could be like you resist a stun. Every time you resist a stun, you gain like unstaggerable and unstunnable. Well, you'd always be unstunnable with the mage blood, but
Yeah.
unstaggerable and I don't know, you gain onslaught for like 10
What?
seconds. Some shit like that.
Yeah.
Um there's like they could change it for every one of the charms in the game. I would hope that someday, maybe 1.0, they expand on the charm system. I do think it is very lacking as it is right now. Like completely
Yeah.
separate from mage blood ever like being a thing. I think the charm system is very lacking. They don't feel super rewarding, but they are
Yeah.
important. Like
Yeah,
in
like you put on the don't get frozen because you don't want to get frozen.
yeah.
And you put on the don't get stunned because you don't want to get stunned. Because losing control of your character is what kills you.
Yeah. I
And then
always
the
feel
third
like
one is like, I don't know, whatever damage type you have the least resistances to, or like maybe like bleed or something. I don't know.
I did the
But
I did the I think late game on my lightning arrow deadeye, I did the
yeah,
resist the slows one because also that made trial of chaos whenever you have the one where every
yeah.
wait no not trial of chaos um that one map modifier where every few seconds it'll just put a slow blast on you and it'll like slow you.
Oh, oh,
It's like super annoying.
oh, it's the worst thing ever.
And like every time you walk through ice, you get slowed.
Yeah,
I had the thing,
yeah.
I had the charm to make it not slow me. So I would
Hmm.
resist a bunch of them whenever they would hit. Um,
Yeah.
and then I had the one that resists stun because whenever you get stunned, you get knocked off the roa and then you fucking die. And then I had the one to resist frost.
Instantly.
Um,
Yeah.
I think I replaced the one where you resist frost because I wasn't getting frozen a while or for a bit. Isn't there
Well,
one
duh, that's what it
that
does.
is actually chaos? Like the chaos resist
Yeah,
one?
there's a chaos resist
But I think it's like a
charm.
unique or like a lake. I don't know. One of them. I think I had that one on because there is a certain point where like during leveling, usually you'll have like the individual elements on, but then whenever you get to like late game, it's like okay, I've maxed out all my resistance. I don't need to like randomly proc 25% fire resist. I have my
Yeah,
resistance
because it
maxed.
wouldn't do anything. Yeah.
So like, yeah, they could do
Yeah.
that. Maybe Mage Blood, like one of the other things, or it could be like gain 35% fire resist if you go over your maximum fire resist, or oh, well, you wouldn't even need that. Gain 2% additional maximum fire resist if you have the fire charm on. So it'd be like a reason to
Yeah.
have that on with Mage Blood. There's a lot of different things they could do. Or Jonathan has said before, the new mechanic that they're adding with the game, Runic Ward. Ward is a completely different mechanic in PoE1, but they just
Yeah.
add it to PoE2, same name pretty much, but it does something completely different. They could do that with Mage Blood. It could be a completely new belt. But I do think
Yeah.
like with uniques like that, It is very,
They like to keep the spirit. Like
yeah, like the
Headhunter is exactly
spirit
the same in
of
PoE2.
what it is.
Yeah.
So I do think that they'll try and do something with maybe um flasks. And is there anything that automatically uses your flask in the game right now? Like that could also be like a
No.
passive on it. That's just like it doesn't take away from
Yeah.
anything else, but like whenever you reach low levels or whenever you reach a low amount of anything like that, it'll auto pop your like health flask or something or your mana flask.
Yeah.
There's something in PoE1 that auto pops your flasks, right? Or is that Mage Blood that I'm thinking of? I thought
No,
it was.
it's not Mage Blood. So in with flasks, there's Mage Blood, which makes all of them active always, and this doesn't work for health and mana potions because the sustain would be too strong. So
Yeah.
they don't let you do that one. But any utility flask, anything that gives you like secondary stats or whatever. But there was also, if you remember, there's instilling orbs, which you take to a
Ah,
workbench,
yes.
a
Yeah.
crafting bench, and you can put a specific stipulation like the flask that there was never a flask that has this as a primary effect, but if you roll like cures freeze and grants immunity to freeze on one of your utility flasks, you could instill it so that flask activates when you become frozen. Or you, like it was just a big old list in the instilling orb section that is like activate this when this happens, or this one that was really popular for stuff that you want on all the time is just when this expires, reactivate it.
Yeah.
Which means as long as you killed fast enough, all you did is you press it when you enter the map, and then it just keeps going as long as you keep giving it enough charges to reactivate.
That's right.
Um,
That's right. That's what I
so
am
that's
thinking of.
very broadly used. Like almost everyone does that later because otherwise you're just pianoing on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 while you're like playing.
I know
So
I've done that with Righteous Fire build because you take like the fire resist flask and
yeah,
your excess fire resist after max becomes health regen with the notable that you
yeah,
take for Righteous Fire. So you just take that one. You take that flask, you have it, try to have it on permanently. Obviously, everybody tries to have Quicksilver or quick that
gotta
one.
go fast.
Yeah, gotta go fast. There's the one like the armor where you get like 10 billion armor just by using the flask.
Ten
Everyone uses
thousand,
that.
yeah.
Um, but
Granite.
yeah, uh, pretty neat. One thing we didn't talk about was that crazy. Oh, we did talk about it. That crazy jewel in the delirium. We kind of talked about it before we even got to the delirium topic, but
Yeah,
the
voices.
voice is pretty good, pretty neat. Um,
Oh yeah.
so yeah, I mean, just general things left. There's like the QOL things that we'll talk about for a few minutes, but like there's 30 new maps in the end game. I would assume that they're themed towards all the different mechanics, and they go into like those mechanics as different biomes. Um,
Yeah.
like I've seen the ones where it's like there's that giant. This is like almost like a train coming through, and that one is in the giant like cathedral that spawns on the
Yeah,
Atlas
the
map.
precursor, I don't know, Citadel Bastion, whatever.
Yeah.
The precursor fortress. That's the word.
Um so that's going to be cool. I mean, new maps is always going to be nice. 40 plus new unique items. We went over a few of them, but I just think it's like crazy. Some of the new ones that they're adding completely change the builds that you go, or like the way of the builds.
Yeah.
Um, they're adding challenges. The so I kind of like that they are adding one right before it comes out, because this is like it's almost like this is the I played what's it called, like
I played the
yeah,
early access.
early access. Yeah, this is like,
Yeah.
because they didn't add any other ones, this is like the early access challenge set that nobody else is going to have ever unless they
You gotta get that
participated
street cred.
in the early access. So this is always going to be like that one, like, oh yeah, you have the Rune of Alder set. That's crazy. Yeah, I played early access, buddy. Yeah, get a job. Something like
Yeah.
that. Get a job, punk.
True, get a job because it was paid.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
paid
maybe
30
if you
bucks.
sought employment, you'd have this set too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. um yeah, I mean it seems easy enough to get, which I like as well. Like I feel like this should be like a nice thing that people want to chase, but also I feel like
Yeah.
casuals should be able to get it. This is like the ascendant, earn all 8 ascendancy points. Like I know some people
That's just a
apparently
gimme.
don't do that, but like yeah, that's a gimme.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do that.
I won't call them people.
Oh,
Sorry,
oh,
sorry. Got
oh.
too. Hey, whoa,
Yeesh.
got a little
Don't get
spicy there.
political.
No, I
Um,
just anytime I'm playing Path of Exile 2, any time of day, anything I'm doing, no matter what
yeah,
time of the week it
yeah.
is, there's some motherfucker like, won't someone please carry me through my ascendancy trial? No, play the game. Play the
You're like, what are we
game. You
doing
can
here?
do it. What are
What's the
you, a
point?
toddler?
Real.
Like, no,
Um,
whatever. I might make some hoes mad with that, but don't buy carries. Just play the fucking game.
there's the Reliquarium mission. Identify 50 unique items.
Creepy.
Artisan. That's complete. 5 div card sets. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking.
We
But it
don't
just
know. We don't know.
yeah. Hey,
Cartographer that
I
looks
could do
like
it.
play every single map type.
Dude, that would be crazy. But it is
I mean, it's
234, so I don't know
234.
what the hell
That's
it could be.
probably
I also thought about that, like with the name and everything. I mean, that's like probably the least gimme if that's the case. I mean, I don't know what the
yeah,
0 out of 12 is. Defeat 12 pinnacle bosses. Boom! um yeah, but I don't know.
easy,
We'll see.
easy. It
I'll
doesn't
do
matter what the
everything.
challenges are. I'm doing them. I gotta
Yeah.
get that.
The
I
master.
gotta get that street cred for the early access.
The master will
You
be
know.
like, kill 5 people in real life and present the
I mean,
evidence to
it doesn't
John
even
Rogers.
have a
Like,
number.
I'll
I'm
get it, man.
assuming the master is beating the new pinnacle.
Mm.
The actual generic, like
Wouldn't it
not
be 0 out
generic,
of
that's
1?
the
You know what I
wrong
mean?
word.
Nah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
It could be that.
you're really yeah.
I feel like the master would be like something that's just one thing, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, streamlining the campaign. Oh, this is gonna be like such a nice QOL. The campaign, and also I think it's just gonna add so much flavor to the areas, even if it's not like just in the sense of QOL. Having like visually the abyss cracks, um, like going through the area that lead you to the underground abyss, like what is it called? I forget.
Abyssal depths.
Yeah, the well,
Oh, the
yeah,
lightless passage?
yeah, the lightless passage. That's what it is. Um,
Yeah.
having like physically
Be
the
in
look
awe
of
of
the
my schism.
abyssal, yeah, the abyss cracks emanating from the lightless passage, I think is going to be pretty cool. Just like yeah, a blood trail from the crowbell nest. It just looks thematically cool. I like that Ogum Village is literally just a signpost because it makes sense. It's a village, and they were like,
Yeah.
"This is like companies put yellow paint on things to help people do what they're doing here." But like, I just love the devs at GGG for like, it's the most obvious thing ever. We want to help people, but we don't want to paint the ground yellow. Like
Yeah.
we don't want to make it so painfully obvious. These are things that like if you first time ever playing the campaign, maybe you don't realize off the top of your head. But like it'll just be there subconsciously. Like, yeah, I'm gonna follow these abyss. I wonder if there's like an abyss at the end of these. When you're like a brand new player, you've seen like one abyss.
Yeah.
That randomly spawned into one of your campaign maps, and you walk through and it's like where's all the monster spawners, but then like you get to the lightless passage, it's like, oh, that's interesting. Or yeah, I mean I think it's pretty cool. I like that the way that they're doing that. Build planner, I think one of the most underrated things that they're adding for sure. I love the fact that not only the build planner but the price checker. Between the build planner and the price price tracker, that really is like that's all the third party apps I use. Like that, you've had it covered. It's all covered now. I'll be able to go to like the Mobalytics website one time, port over a build similar to exactly how you would with like you download a item filter, you put it in the folder, and then you open the drop down menu in the actual game. Boom, there's your item filters. They showed it. You open the drop down menu at like the top left of your Atlas passive tree, or not your Atlas passive tree, your character passive tree, and you get to pick like a build. And not only that, but it like appears on like your character, your like item build pieces, your ascendancy things. Like you go get the build that you want and you port it over and you just play it. And you never need to like go back to the website to like check like, oh, what modifiers did he use? What notes did he have? What what nodes did he take after this set? Like I got this set. Maybe I go back and check like where I go next on the tree. You don't have to do that ever again anymore. Seemingly.
Yeah.
Unless there's like more depth that they can't add, but like, you know. And then other quality of life, such as like the Atlas search. I mean, that's cool. And the fragment stash tab. Oh, thank God. And I just realized like I hadn't even thought about how stash tabs move over from PoE1, and fragment stash tab is
Yeah.
already a thing in PoE1. I don't know if I have it, but I probably do. So like I was thinking in my head like, oh, I'm definitely gonna buy that when it comes out, and not to sway GGG away from like, the good deed that they do. I was definitely gonna buy it when it came out, and now I'm thinking, wait, do I even need to? Um,
Yeah. I mean, I wish there was an easy way to check outside of installing the game and logging in, but like,
real. I was about to
I
install the
feel,
game just to
I feel
see.
like I already have it, which will, which will save me a couple of bucks. But
Yeah,
yeah, I would buy it anyway. Like if I don't have it, I'm gonna buy it. But
it's gonna have to
I
look
like
so
that they
crazy.
grandfather those in. What's up?
The socketables, they're actually gonna have to change that stash tab because they're gonna have to make it like they're gonna have to add multiple pages onto it.
Yeah,
Or like,
it's gonna be page based. It's gonna be like Calgaren socketable.
yeah,
Oh,
it's gonna be
excuse
like
me. Oh my god.
socketables,
Excuse me.
Calgaren socketables. I assume they're gonna put like, if they do that, they're gonna put relics and chaos socketables, like chaos trial
Yeah,
socketables on
the soul cores.
yeah, soul cores. Talismans and soul cores on a different page as well. Yeah, they're gonna have to buff that one up. Also, yeah, I just really like that they're adding the fragment stash tab because man,
Big W. Oh my god.
0.3, I was stacking bones
I,
to
I
the
dude, I put a
moon.
fucking I put a fucking quad tab. I dedicated one of my quad tabs to precursor tablets.
Yeah. And
Just because like I didn't have
oh
anywhere to
yeah,
fucking put them.
the oh yeah, the tablets. Oh my god. The
Yeah,
tablets, the keys to get into the trials, the trial keys for both of
mm-hmm.
the different trial. Oh my
Yeah,
god,
Jin
man.
Varias and
Uh,
why do I know the Trial of Sekma one, but I don't know the Chaos one?
real.
Oh well. The Chaos key.
Yeah. Why does it feel like, why do I feel like it's called the chaos key? I know it isn't, but
There's
um
no shot.
and there's the bones. Do omens have their own tab, or is that where they're going now? I can't remember if omens have their own tab.
Omens have their own tab. They do.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's called the Ritual tab. I don't
Oh
own it,
yeah.
or at
Nice.
least I didn't own it, but I bought it because I realized after I did my pay piggying and I bought my $90 stash tab, I was literally just looking through the microtransaction shop looking for something to buy. And so I was clicking through every single tab to do like a full scan of the current shop.
I
And I
did that
noticed
today.
in my stash tabs thing that I didn't have, how they say like in the green text like you've collected this.
Yeah.
It didn't say it on the ritual stash tab, and I said, "A stash tab I don't own?
I
No chance in
wait,
hell." So I bought it, and I bought it instantly.
there is no unique experiences anymore because I genuinely
Yeah.
feel like I did that today. There is a stash
I
tab
did it
that I
like 2 days
don't
ago.
own, and I'm gonna open up the game right now. If it's the same exact one,
Ritual
um,
stash tab.
but yeah, I looked today. I was also looking through just the random tabs of the shop, looking at all the different
Yeah.
cosmetics, seeing what's like on sale currently or whatever. Um,
Yeah.
and I saw that there was one stash tab that I don't own. I didn't buy it yet because I wanted to wait till it was on sale. It's like it costs 40 at base. Let me go on
Yeah.
Shrimp Linguini real quick. Um,
Good old
but
shrimp linguine.
I'm gonna check it real quick. We'll see right here, right now. This will be the final little thing we do in the podcast. Wow, opening that made you blurry as shit.
I'm sorry.
Your Discord made you put less effort into pixelating your massive muscles um because I'm opening the microtransaction shop in Path of Exile too.
Important business.
Stash tab 17. Okay, already owned. It's the ritual one. Did they just add it?
Yeah.
Did they just add it?
I'm
Because
pretty
I
sure
swear
the
you and me
reasonable
both didn't add
experience
it.
is that they added it in 0.4, and we just weren't playing, so we didn't
Oh yeah,
like.
that could probably be it.
Yeah, because maybe people were like,
Oh,
"Bro, where do
they're
I
40
put my
base.
fucking omens?"
See, that's why I
And they were
genuinely
like,
asked you the question. I was like, do they have an? Are omens going in
No,
there?
because
Because
you used to
I
have
was
an
just
omen
thinking
tab,
about
but
it.
you had to dedicate a stash tab just to omens, and be like, "Bro."
Real. Like I'm
No, so
looking
they
through.
added it.
I
It
don't
exists
have.
now.
Yeah, I'm
But yeah,
actually
I
gonna
bought
look
it.
at the 0.4 notes and see if they added that in 0.4 and I just didn't realize, or maybe 0.4.1. I don't know. Or 0.2. I don't know when they added it, but yeah. Oh, inscribed ultimatums. That's what you're thinking of too.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Um, but yeah, okay. Exiting out of PoE2 now. Hopefully you repixelate. But yeah. What a monster of a patch. I don't
Absolute
know if
monster of a
there's
patch gets an absolute monster of an episode.
absolute monster of my meat slapping the table the day that it. I mean, I might quit my job. You know, hey, who's to say?
Yeah, I mean,
Who's to
who
say?
kn- who knows what happens May 29th? We'll
That's
see.
all I'm saying. We'll see May 21st because that's whenever the patch notes drop. You know,
Yeah,
maybe.
we gotta make an episode for Patch Day once we actually know what's happening.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
also I have a little theory. I don't know if if you didn't watch the 5-minute video.
I sure did. I
There,
watched it.
yeah, I'm gonna like talk
I
for
watch
like
all of your videos.
30 seconds about it.
Okay.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
A quick plug.
Yeah, a quick, well, a quick little statement because I feel like if you're watching this for like an all-encompassing patch 0.5, take from us, which everybody will be doing. Everybody, I'm sure
Everyone will be
Ziz
doing
will be
that. Yeah,
reacting to this on stream tomorrow.
I
Um,
hope so.
yeah, the entire podcast episode, or the
I'd like a
entire episode,
career,
start to
please.
finish. Um, this will be the talk of the town. We'll be invited on to Talkative Try.
Uh-huh.
His cast. We'll do a try cast with him. It'll be great. But there are like two different devs who kind of like soft hinted. I mean, one straight up said, we have, like, they said this has been a monster patch, been fun working on it. We still have 3 weeks to keep cooking. So I would assume they're gonna keep like working this next 3 months. Maybe like, it could be them sorting out the bugs of all the things that they've added in the patch, but maybe there's time to add last second content. Who knows? In 0.3, they didn't think that they were going to get the auction house in literally like a week or maybe a few days before the patch dropped. Like a 45-second video came out from GGG where
I remember
Jonathan
that.
Rogers were like, "Hey, so we didn't initially talk about it because we didn't think we'd be able to get it in, but
Oh, I'm Jonathan Rogers.
yeah,
For
and
grinding
we
gay games.
are able to get it in. We finished it in time and it's ready to ship. So it'll be coming with 0.3. And everyone lost their damn mind about
Oh, it
that
was
when that came in.
fantastic.
Because it was like,
Great
holy
news.
shit. We thought it was going to be delayed and it wasn't. This is going to be an insane patch. Um
Everyone
so
immediately said, "Yeah, I'm like." Even the streamers were like, "I'm a solo self-found player. This is a trade league. I'm playing
oh yeah,
trade.
for sure.
There's
I mean,
there,
you
there's
gotta
you
play
can't."
for the first ever trade league that's like this. Um and then what else? What else was it? What else was it? Somebody said, damn, I need to like bring up.
Mm-hmm.
I need to bring up like my thumbnail for it, so I can see the different posts. And I'll just bring up my video. Muted. Go. Oh. A dev. This was the other more convincing one. It was that one. Obviously, he straight up said they're going to keep cooking for the next 3 weeks until the patch drops. So hopefully, anything that they can get done in that time will come out. But straight up in a talkative try stream, one of the devs, Saber070, that's their name on YouTube. I don't, said, spoiler, there will be more than you see here. When talkative try was doing a like pausing every few seconds reaction to the 0.4 or 0.5 4-minute trailer. Straight up, the dev said there will be more than you see here. So whatever the hell that means, that sounds pretty damn confirmed to me. I'm not saying that there's going to be like I'm not saying like they were. It'd be cool. It'd be kind of funny if they were like joking about not being able to get swords in, and then Jonathan comes in like the last week. Like, we've marinated on like this 4-minute trailer and this dev live stream for like 3 weeks, and it's like at this point, it's like, all right, man, just like drop the damn patch. Like, we're all waiting, we're all excited, but like we've been holding this excitement for 3 weeks, and then just to fucking crank us one last time and get us like at the top of hype, like right before the league drops, he's like, yeah, so we were just joking about swords. We got him in. Duelist is out. I was 0.5. Holy stroke my shit, bro. But like, it could just
See, but that would ruin my life because I think I would probably go duelist.
Yeah, because then you'd like have to quit your job.
There's no. I could see swords, but they might separate the weapon from the class and just give you the weapon for now.
Yeah, because then
If
it'd be
they do
usable in other
sneak it
melee
in.
classes.
Yeah,
And
you
they
can
just
use it on warrior and
it wouldn't specifically
mercenary.
have to come with duelist. It would just be. I think duelist would have to come with swords. Swords wouldn't have to come with duelist. Swords would have to just come with a few skill gems.
Yeah.
So it could be that. It could be new skills. It could be like small things like a few new uniques that more than what they said. Whatever. I'm not saying it's something massive, but I really do think that there is a little something extra that we're gonna find out.
Little tweet
is coming, either in like a video, if it's big enough to make a video about, or like we get the patch notes and it's like, wait a minute, we didn't talk about this. That's pretty hype. Something like that that's gonna come with the patch. So overall, yeah, just flying to myself actually. Yeah, that is 0.5. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
No.
My throat hurts. I'm ready for some penis.
True. I'm just about talked out. I'm now gonna go into a roughly 3-week hibernation while I wait for Path of Exile 2 to come out. Or 0.5, that is.
Sorry, boss at work. I can't be conscious for the next 3 weeks.
Okay, so I've got launch day off. I messaged my boss already. I'm trying to get the day after off too, so that I can just
what is
really
the day after?
I can just be. It's a Saturday.
Oh, fuck. See, that'd be ideal. Like if I could get Friday and Saturday, then I already have Sunday.
Yeah.
Straight up stroking my shit.
3-day weekend of 0.5 launch.
Oh
my god.
Oh, content would be immaculate.
You know what? Like, okay, if you can get it approved, I'm gonna shoot for 3 days. I'm gonna say I will pay another manager to work my Sunday.
Oh!
I will pay for it. Like,
I will
just give me the whole fucking weekend
of whoever takes my shift.
Like literally,
I will be hands and knees.
Just give me the whole
for whoever takes my weekend.
We'll be like 80. We'll be like level 90 on day 3.
Sorry, wife and kids. Yeah, I mean honestly, like the dogs can feed themselves on Friday. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll put the.
True. I mean, yeah, just fill the bowl a lot. You know?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, that's a good idea.
You're good.
Just 29th. The wife doesn't work on the 29th or 30th.
You gotta give her something to do. You send her to Johnstown.
I was gonna see. I was saying that like it's a good thing, like as a meme.
Oh,
I could be like, "Oh, wife, you got the house for like 2 days." I mean, I won't be seeing you.
yeah,
Well, I will. Yeah, you'll walk through the room sometimes. But
yeah.
I'm gonna sit in this chair for like the next 72
Neglect is
hours.
inbound.
Neglect is inbound for the next 72 hours. I'll be a human again on Monday, maybe, unless I wake up and I have that off. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but I also see your argument where um she'll want to do things on those days. Yeah,
Ill
which is
Valentine.
still, hey, you know.
Yeah.
I will feel a little bad. She works 4
Yeah.
consecutive days works 4 nights in a row, sleeping all the days after, and then is off on the 29th and 30th
Yeah,
before
but then
having to
it's
go to
time
work
for
again. But then I'll be playing PoE 2.
yeah, but it's time for you to go to work. You know,
That's what
you're a
I'm saying.
professional. You're a professional PoE2 content creator, so
That's
you gotta get the
bro.
content.
Someone who gets it. God, this is a career, okay? We have millions of viewers. All right. All right, gang. Hopefully in this like almost 3 hours, we didn't leave anything out. There's so much in the patch. I'm probably going to like think tomorrow or like be watching someone else's content tomorrow and be like, "Oh fuck yeah, we didn't mention that." But like there's just so much in the patch, like even in 3 hours it's hard to encapsulate. Um so I hope we did our absolute best. I mean, I believe we did our best. I hope we did it justice. And yeah, oh god, 3 hours and 11 minutes. See you guys. This is gonna be a doozy to upload, by the way.
A mega patch deserves a mega episode.
Holy shit. All right. We'll see you guys. Me for sure. Maybe we. I assume we, because I'll probably do next episode
For the 1.0
on
podcast.
patch. On yeah, patch notes 521. I'll probably do like individual videos and then like a podcast on it. Um Yeah. Hey, it's a good month. Wait, actually, it's a horrible month. Next
It's
month is a
a
good month
horrible
to be a
month.
PoE2 player.
It's a horrible month to be a PoE2 player. It's a great year to be a PoE2 player, though.
Real great
This
year.
patch is basically lasting the rest of the year. Isn't that crazy to think about?
Yeah. I just watched Ares knock like genuinely 100 small things on the floor as he was trying to
Nice.
get off of something. So
Nice.
yeah, I'm gonna be picking those up, I guess. All right. All right. I'll see you guys in the next episode.
Yeah, make sure
Oh,
to subscribe if you enjoyed the episode.
yeah,
The
don't
Simply Divine
subscribe.
podcast.
No, please subscribe. Yes. And give it a like. And comment below. Who stinks most?
And share to your friends.
Oh, I guarantee I stink the most. Guaranteed right now, bro. I smell diabolical. I haven't showered in 3 days, if I'm being honest. I've been unemployed, sitting in here, my gamer gunk,
I mean, why
making
waste the
YouTube
water?
videos.
No, I
Yeah,
100% agree. Why waste the water?
I definitely smell like shit though. I'm probably gonna have to shower tonight. Like later though. Like later though.